nothing but pure raw muscle, steel, and sex appeal.
There's never been a worse description of it. Only got a little bit of muscle. Well, sometimes mountains of sex appeal. It depends on if I've properly balanced my alcohol intake to destroy my inhibitions but not make me so bumbling that I can't fucking do anything.
Right.
Looking for a videographer? I've done videography work before. American treasure hunters who found huge fortunes. This just in.
Have you seen the previews for Fear Street
No.
on Netflix? It's a really cool idea.
Is it
the R.L. Stein books?
Yeah.
So it's a trilogy of movies that they've made for Netflix, and they're releasing one a week. It's like a weekly release, like a limited series basically, but they're movies instead of limited series. And all three of them are directly tied together, and like one takes place in the 70s, one takes place in the 80s, and then one takes place in current time. One of them is like the 1770s, like it's really, really old.
Yeah.
And then one takes place in the 80s, and then one takes place like current time.
I hope our listener can hear us because we're actually talking about something.
It looks really cool.
So
Yes.
is it geared towards tweens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bruno has arrived.
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
I got to find stuff for Alex and I to watch together
Yeah,
that isn't so fucking hardcore.
Not always easy.
And Netflix. I've been watching Designated Survivor. Just got to season 3 when
When they moved to
season,
Netflix?
Yeah.
And it's like, and then it's like,
Uh-huh.
fuckity fuck.
Yeah. They add
Yeah.
that lady that's like BB from Frasier to run his campaign.
I didn't.
And you're
Oh,
like,
Beeb Newer.
That was that show had a pretty solid premise and a pretty great pilot,
And
it
a really solid first season.
Oh, see, I was so checked out by the middle of the first season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was
okay through season 1 and there were some things that I called, and I've been watching it with my mom. So and she doesn't mind, or at least she doesn't say that she minds that I do my whole like fucking ticky-talky thing over stuff like, oh, this is going to happen. Like I predict things as I see them, which is awful. I could not watch a series with myself.
Oh yeah. It's
Such a piece of shit I am.
Yeah. I'm fucking awful.
I'm bad about it with some things, and then others I'm like weirdly not. I don't know. I'm very
Alex thinks it's
circumstantial
great
with how
because
I
he
do
thinks
that.
I'm some sort of fucking prognosticator because I know how script work works.
All right, here we go.
Let's get ready to suck it!
Red Bull you here, folks. I don't know if...
What is up? Look at how well I did right there. Welcome, Bruno.
Welcome. Thank you.
What's
How
up,
are you,
buddy?
Doing all right. How about you guys?
I killed that.
Outstanding.
doing well. Trying not to die in the 120 degree heat.
That's rough.
It's
How
like
does my mic
fucking
sound, by the
Kuwait
way?
here.
What's
Good.
that?
You sound
does-
great.
Does it sound? I got a different mic setup today.
Oh, it
Oh, yeah.
sounds
It-
fantastic.
yeah,
it
no, it
actually
sounds
is an
really good.
improvement over the last
Okay,
time I
good.
remember.
I didn't
Yeah,
think
I was-
it sounded bad before, but
No.
it's like you're next to us now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good.
I was listening to the podcast last time, and I was like, don't sound as good as these guys. I got to bust out the professional mic.
So I went and spent $700.
No. I had the
Did you
mic
get a Yeti?
already. No,
Yeah,
I got
what
the.
kind of mic do you use?
I got a Audio Technica. It's a USB, the USB one.
Nice.
I had it already. I just never used it for coming on the podcast. I always just use the microphone out of these guys.
No, it sounds good.
Good,
But you should really just drop $400 on one of Joe Rogan's mics.
right?
SMB 7.
Oh,
you know,
man.
what the hell those
Does
are.
it
wish I
look
had
like?
that
Does it
kinda
have a
disposable
monkey
money.
head on it? Like it's on it?
No, it's like
Kettlebells?
the standard podcast.
It
mic.
is.
Like the
God bless Joe Rogan for being a fucking entrepreneur, but Jesus Christ, he sells us some tools. Like
Yeah.
just
oh
the,
yeah.
the things that he sells and the I don't know, the
On it.
packaging
Yeah.
of like the on it stuff. Like, are you not enough of a man?
He's
Like,
very
no, I'm
willing
not, sir.
to-
I'm not.
Well, he still have stuff to do with the UFC? I know he
Yes.
used
Yeah,
to,
he's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
fighters and stuff.
Okay. I think that has a lot to do with it. I think he knows his audience, so he caters to them. That's probably smart on his part, but
I think I found our opening news article though. Non-wrestling fan changes
Yeah,
name to John Cena because of alcohol and machismo.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've been working on a flip, like a house.
Oh,
flip.
really? Nice.
And the past like 2 weeks, I've been there pretty much all day, every day, and I just caught up on all my Rogan episodes, like 2 months worth of episodes.
Wow. That's like 700 hours of content.
Dude,
Your arms must be tired from hammering
insane.
Insane.
Well, all right. Granted, I didn't listen to every single episode. Like, I don't listen to the MMA shows.
You're a cherry picker. You listen to the ones that you're like, oh, this guy I might be interested in.
You have to.
That's
You
it.
can't do anything else with
no
it.
way.
Yeah.
No way. His are too long.
So,
I mean, 3 hours, 3.5 sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm very interested here. So this house you're flipping.
Yeah.
When did this start?
Started back in I closed. Well, I'm in it with 2 partners, so we closed March 30th, I believe, or 31st, something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 3 months in.
Is it everything you imagined?
Where's it at?
It's in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Okay.
Right on.
Yeah, we're right next to. A piece of the Newark airport is in Elizabeth, and the airport. The way Newark is laid out, the airport is part of Newark, but really it should be Elizabeth.
Oh, okay.
So they're right next to each other.
Oh, that's cool.
Is the housing market the way it is here, like just ridiculous?
Yeah.
Everything's 100,000 more than it
sellers just
everyone's leaving the city.
a seller's dream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's no
for
point in
sure.
being in the city anymore.
Nope.
It's expensive.
No point
for
in
no
being
reason.
in a 400 unit building that you're in like this little tiny hole in the wall.
Yeah.
So
You got to be there 24/7.
let's see, you closed in March and
We're 3 months
July.
in.
You're three. Yeah. So I was going to say, so you're 3 months in. What's your what's your end goal?
Timely.
How much? I guess
Hoping to
the
be
real
done in
question
the
is,
next
how
2 weeks.
much are you flipping it? Like, are you going from rags to riches? Or are you going from
No,
a C minus to a B plus type thing?
Like a C minus to a B plus.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
Hey, man, there's money to be made in that shit. That's cool.
No, for sure. That's really what I'm doing it for, is for the money.
Yeah.
Just doing some cosmetic, like
That's cool.
Yeah, some light reno.
You
redo
upgrade the
kitchen. It was an
bathroom
old
and the
house.
kitchen, and most people will jump right on it. They don't
Yeah,
give a shit
That's
about the
exactly
bedrooms.
it.
If
Is-
there's a
That's- yeah.
closet and room for a bed,
That's it.
You're
Yeah.
Is
Some fresh paint.
Have you ever
Mm.
done something like this before?
Yeah. I own
Oh, okay, really?
I own another property, a 2-family that I rent out.
Oh, neat.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
do you run it as a B&B or?
No.
Oh,
It's yearly leases.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
I
this
feel like
is
I
my
would
second
fall in
one.
love with properties as I did that. Like if I was putting all that effort in, I would just be like, I really love this place and I'm going to keep it. And it would be like,
That's kind of how I feel about this one, but it's going to be tough letting it go. But it is what it's a business, man. I can't.
it is.
Yeah.
Can't get tied to it. You know what? It's kind of like making a movie. You make it, it's your baby, and then you
And
kind
then
of
it's done.
feel bad, and then it's
You
done.
release it
And
into
then
the
it's-
You
wild,
release it into the world.
Yeah.
and it's everybody's opinion after that.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Before we go too much further, just a heads up for anybody
Yeah.
listening, we might have the power cut at some point during our recording.
We may be victims of a vista.
And we'll talk more about the
The
heat wave
rolling
that's the rolling
Brownouts.
yeah, the heat wave and the rolling outages that are that are impending. But I wanted to put that out there really quick in case
Yeah.
it happens.
In the event we get disconnected.
yeah.
Look, how about we talk about that? Is it really what's the temperature like over
It was
there?
It's-
121 today
Yeah.
was where it topped out. And it's probably
Wow.
still 115.
It, according to the
Wow.
weather at the airport, which always makes me laugh because it makes me think of the George Carlin bit.
Like who lives at the airport?
I don't know anybody that lives at the airport, but according to the airport right now, it's 116 still.
And it's 6 p.m. out
And
there.
it's 6:15 p.m. Yeah.
Holy
It
shit!
was
And you guys are in the
when-
Northwest. I
So
can
we
only
went.
imagine the South.
I took the kids to the pool today because there was a birthday party that we were going to, and when I was like gearing up to pack our bags and, load the cooler up and whatnot. It was 11:30 and it was already 108.
Yeah. It went.
Yeah, it's fucking brutal, man.
And when the sun comes up tomorrow, it'll be in the 70s.
Yeah. It was 71 when I woke up this morning at 4:30. And
I mean, 70s is not terrible, but
Normal
But when
is
that's
like
the coldest
normal
you
is
get,
like
it's-
high
that's
40s.
something,
Yeah, that's the coldest it's getting.
Yeah. So do you want to you pick the article? I vote you kick this John Cena shit off because I want to hear about this. This is funny.
Okay. Non-wrestling fan changes name to John Cena because of alcohol machismo. They wrote it like a real honest to God news article.
Yeah.
Trust and believe I've done some really, really dumb stuff under the influence of alcohol. At various points in my life, I've also done stuff I wouldn't normally do just so my friends wouldn't call me a wimp or something even less PC. I'm a Gen Xer. We casually threw around some pretty despicable terms in the 80s or 90s, like pussy and wimp.
Gay and fag. And
You're a fag! I heard that shit a lot. What I've never done, though, is take steps to legally change my name on a dare. The tale of a 23-year-old Englishman, John Cena, is even stranger than that, though. Here's how the restaurant worker formerly known as Lewis Oldfield explained to The Sun. We'd had a few drinks and we were play wrestling. We were
I love the affectation of
we
an
were
accent.
just messing around, pretending to do announcements like in WWE, and one of my friends was introducing John Cena. One thing led to another, and they dared me to change my name to John Cena. I was going to get a tattoo saying it, but did this instead. I always follow through with the dares, so I just did it. I'm not even a wrestling fan. And he's
Clearly. I was
gonna
definitely
say.
not on... Wow.
So in the photo here for the article, for the viewers who can't see or listeners who can't see, he's wearing a John Cena t-shirt, which I'm sure is staged for the article because the photo credit is The Sun. But he's got to at least be... He was play wrestling with his friends.
Yeah.
Drunkenly. That's not just something that nobody does. Yeah, see, there's the image for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world.
He didn't just... yeah.
I don't know.
He owned that shirt. He
More
didn't
than
buy
likely.
it for the article.
More than likely. Either that or he borrowed it from a friend.
Yeah. One of the two.
So he's
there were
23.
wrestling fans involved.
Okay. So
He does kind of look like he sounds like Harry Potter too,
Yeah.
which is the voice you're doing.
He looks
Harry
like
Potter.
British millennial. Like he looks like he looks. I don't know. I don't mean to generalize or anything, but
He's
he
got the
looks
trash beard.
just so fucking British.
Let's see. Oldfield. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah.
Oldfield, Cena, made the change via a deed poll, which Google tells me is a legal document, but doesn't complete the process of legally changing your name until it's been enrolled. The Sun article doesn't specify if Cena has done that yet, but he says, I actually don't mind the name, so I'm going to keep it. Don't try this at home, kids. Which is a call
As a callback to
callback to the
yeah.
WWE's. Please, don't try this at home.
But
ASMR.
now
Yes.
ASMR.
I am. Nobody is going to believe you when you introduce yourself as John Cena.
No.
That's your name for
like,
one.
you can't see me?
And for two, they're definitely not going to believe that you're not a wrestling fan.
No.
When it was like, if I changed my name to Stephen King and people were like, oh, you really like his books? I'd be like, oh, I never read a single one of them. Like, I was drunk and it sounded cool, so whatever. Like, people aren't going to believe that. What's the login for Hulu? I'll text it to you, Matthew, because I'm not giving my Hulu login. Really, kid? My son just messaged to ask me I love you.
In the chat?
In the chat.
Why don't you just go watch The Bad Batch? You'll be all right.
That kid.
So, yeah, but there's no way that guy was not a wrestling fan. That's...
Or, well, I mean,
I
Cena is one of those wrestling guys like The Rock and Hogan and stuff. Who
He's a crossover now.
Yeah, he's in Fast 9, Cars in Space.
Cars in Space.
I love that they embraced the meme and did it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
whatever. That's
That is such a magical series of movies.
He's Also, on the subject of the Fast 9 movies, Ludacris is coming to the casino here. Like,
Oh yeah,
that's kind of amazing.
he's
to
in
me.
one of the biggest movies of all time. 'Cause
Yeah,
you can't tell me that budget isn't at least 200
billions and
billion.
billions of dollars that these movies have made. And I get like we get some like, on the
We get your Rob Snyder.
they're on their third farewell tour.
Yeah,
Like,
ZZ
yeah, I'm
Top's
coming
gonna
to
be
Lewiston.
here, or was just here.
And I don't know. Ludacris is kind of a get.
Yeah.
Like he was really big back then, but he's still genuinely relevant. Like Fast 9 just came out, and spoilers for the people not up to, they go to fucking space. He drives a guy. He's one of the ones.
We joked about this
He's
on
one
the
of the
show.
ones in the car. Him and Tyrese take a fucking car to space.
Yeah,
Like, that's
I love
amazing.
it. I
love it.
Love it.
Space car.
I love it. It's
Once
brilliant.
it turned into a superhero franchise, like
That
that
is
Hobbs and Shaw
embracing
movie
the meme.
is an absolute superhero movie.
Yeah,
I only watched the first 20 minutes
It's
of it
not
before
good.
I fell asleep.
dude.
but
Is it
Idris Elba's like a Terminator.
Is it the seventh one? I don't know. They all blur together, but I think it's the seventh one. It might be the fifth one.
There's one where they're driving on trees.
They're on a
Treetops.
They're on a
Like-
parking garage that is like collapsing in on itself, and Vin Diesel's in the middle of this big action sequence, and he literally, like, on the parking garage, like Hulk stomps onto this fractured part of the parking garage, which helps to cause the whole fucking like multi-story thing to come crashing down.
Vin physics Diesel.
Yeah, man. I love that shit. For as much as I hate the first couple Fast and Furious movies, I love how just bananas they went.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, 6 is where they lost their minds and just were like, you know what? Let's do whatever we want. We have all of the money in the world.
Was that the one where they drove on trees? There's one where they drove on trees.
6 was the one where The Rock was introduced, and that's when it went off the rails.
They
Before that, like maybe 5. I don't remember but I know 5 was a little ridiculous, but it wasn't like magnet cars and driving in space ridiculous.
Okay, so I saw a clip from the new one that is on par with like magnet cars and driving through space, because again, if you have a magnet in your car, it's not just cars around you, it's also going to fuck up your car, but whatever.
Yeah, it's just going to tear it through.
They're driving in, it was some like little short clip I saw on YouTube promoting it, but Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez are driving on a very well-maintained road in a jungle, and they're like coming to this big cliff precipice, and the rope bridge is like snapping, and Vin Diesel cranks the wheel perfectly timed to pin the rope between the tire and the frame, and like the car's tire and frame grip the rope, and it swings across like Tarzan style across the fucking
I love it.
chasm. Excuse me. Yeah,
it's
so silly. I love it.
It is probably the most cinematically American thing ever.
Since like Chuck Norris Invasion USA or something.
Since Delta Force. Just absurd. I love it. If you ever get the chance to work on a fast movie, Bruno, jump on it. Jump on it.
No matter how unpleasant Vin Diesel might be, allegedly.
So with these
those things are monsters.
With these rolling power outages,
dude,
people have been bitches.
I'd be interested to know what it would be like being on something that big.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, Sopranos was pretty large.
Yeah.
And I tried to be on The Irishman, and I couldn't get on that.
On the what?
The Irishman?
No shit.
Yeah. I tried to get on that, and then I wasn't able to get on The Irishman, but I got on the original Quiet Place because they filmed at the same time.
Yeah.
But The Irishman was also massive. But yeah, I mean, the Fast and Furious are a lot bigger than these.
It'd be like working on a Marvel movie or something like that. Like, it'd be
they're on par with that.
Depends on which Marvel movie. I've done some.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true.
You were gonna say War.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's
I'm
okay.
sorry,
I was abruptly cutting everybody off, so that's my fault.
But people have been bitches.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, it's funny.
you
I
were
mean, I
talking
wouldn't
about
be
it earlier.
happy if my power got cut, but at the same time,
when our power gets cut.
when our power gets
Yeah.
cut, when it happens, I'm not going to be happy about it. But at the same time, it's going to happen, so prepare for it. And
Yeah.
so, but also,
So they posted the thing yesterday telling people that they needed to try and limit usage, or else they were going to have to do this.
Yeah,
Right.
limiting usage
And
so air
people were like,
conditioners can-
"Fuck you." And
Here's
I
the-
can't turn off my.
now
my-
it's happening,
I
and
can't
they're
turn
like,
off my
"Fuck
YouTubes."
you."
here's the problem. It's the toilet paper thing, though. Everybody inside, like, we are like, oh, it's going to get real hot, so you should run your AC. Like, so everybody stay cool out there, so people panic and turn on their AC where they didn't have it before. Like, I've had mine basically in maintenance mode,
Mhm.
where it's just keeping us straight
80.
75.
No.
But it's not like in my basement's extra comfortable because
Oh, yeah.
it's
That's-
extra cooler.
I-
It's
down there.
always
I've-
20 degrees cooler
Yeah,
down there.
I
So I'm
live
like,
in the
yeah.
basement. It's beautiful.
But upstairs, it's just okay. But we're in kind of that maintenance mode. But everybody went out of went from we weren't really doing, or I had my thermostat programmed to do all this fucking bullshit
Mhm.
fluctuation.
Yeah.
And that actually taxes your thermostat and your energy bill way more by doing this big fluctuation thing, because
Absolutely.
your all your stuff is working to keep up and working to catch back up
yeah.
Mhm.
in the morning. So if you're in kind of a maintenance mode, you're okay, but most people weren't. And so that's why we're seeing this big push on power.
Oh yeah, and everybody thinks it's like toilet paper. We're gonna run out of power.
Right.
Like it's just being.
Well, yeah, we will,
generated
because
at
we're going to turn it off.
It's being generated at a certain level,
Right.
and as long as you keep under that level, there's no power outages. But everybody's got to plug in like every fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I
How many
need.
people there? How many people have generators around there?
I would assume
I
more
would
than the
assume a
national
lot,
average
yeah.
for the per capita.
With how big camping and stuff like that is in this area, I would imagine there are a lot of people with generators. Like I have one at my house.
But how many
we don't
people?
need it.
How many people haven't tapped into their electrical system though? Because you have to have a special
Well, very
setup for that. But
that's probably a significantly lower percentage.
Right.
Yeah,
But still,
it wouldn't be hard to plug in your
No.
your
right, you could
AC.
go
units.
get comfortable. We could go out in our camper and get the AC running in our camper.
Yeah.
The
with
thing
the
that
generator.
the thing that really confuses me is how long has this has been going on? Avista's infrastructure problems have been going on.
That too.
Since
for-
before they raised rates.
I mean, I was Matthew's age,
Yeah.
and they were having it was over 20 years ago, and
Like they
Can they not?
can't prepare for
what's? I mean, no. Does it
temperatures in the
does it-
100 and teens.
does it-
No, does it normally? But we
get this
can't.
hot? No,
We
but
can't work
should-
in that. That's the same problem fucking Texas had because
With
they
the
got
cold,
because they got a fucking winter this
that-
year
Theirs
yeah,
was
that's a good
different though
point.
because there were no
because they're
cross
separated
street- yeah,
from
they're on their own grid within
Right.
the state, and not
right.
they
Well, that
don't-
was
they
the other
can't
thing is
borrow
it-
power.
we have like federal mandates to like Avista has to turn it off when they're told to do so,
Yeah.
right.
Because they're tied into the
Well,
So huzzah for Texas! I'm jealous of everyone who's moved there, except that I wouldn't want to live there.
the
if you get a winner, yeah.
the discussion
Yeah.
that I had about it today earlier was, in regards to all the people being so pissed off. They were all bent out of shape, and everybody jumped on Facebook to, well, you keep raising your rates, and it's so expensive, and fuck that, I'm not turning mine down, and da da da. They warned you that if you didn't do it, this was going to happen, and so now it's happening. People are bent out of shape that they're doing it, but how mad would these people be if Avista didn't do this and something wound up blowing and it's 120 degrees out and these people are without power for like 36
Days.
hours
Right.
or 48 hours? Then what the fuck do you do?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing: is they act like they're going to keep getting charged
Well,
if the power gets
like,
turned
yeah,
off, and they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, including myself, are on like comfort level billing, but it all averages out, and I pay what my average is.
Fuck
Right.
that, man. Mm-mm. Comfort level billing is a way for them to get more money out of you.
that's true.
Well,
I'm sorry, but I very firmly believe that. The first time that I heard about that idea, It's like that sounds like a really creative way to get a little bit of
It's
extra money
no,
on
but it
people.
is averaged. But it's it's a fucked up way of doing it because they base it off of
Your highest
anomalous
free, your lowest
activity,
free,
Yeah.
and so
and
you get your money back. You're ultimately not going to overpay at the end of the day, but it sucks sometimes because they'll base it off like these anomalous averages. So right now my bill, because of something weird that happened last year, is like $345 a month, which
Yeah.
is disgusting.
And that's
that's
but
fucked up because I've
those-
never paid more than 110.
those kind of things are
like
exactly
the depths
why
of
I
summer
don't.
last year and
But-
the darkest
like that
days
idea.
of
But I
winter.
know when we've had really bad summers, I've had $400 and some odd dollar
Oh yeah,
bills in the summer. So it's better, like for me, I think it's better to know what my average is over the course of a year and budget for it for
It helps
budgeting
you budget.
because
purposes.
you're not a stereotype.
it helps
And
you
I
budget
am.
better, definitely.
I'm a fucking thermostat Nazi. I refuse to let him go. Oh no, let's turn it down to 68. Fuck you.
Oh
We're
no,
going-
that's too low.
If that thermostat goes below 78 or above 76 in the winter, just the thoughts. I mean, like, okay, it's 120 degrees outside and you want to turn it down to 68?
That's
That's
crazy.
almost half. When you walk outside and walk back inside, it's like walking into the deep freeze.
Yeah, and you
the
have
kind
this
of the
this
kind
little
of
box that's trying
stress
to do
that
all
puts
that.
on your body and opens you up to getting sick. People are like, oh, I don't understand why colds are so bad in the summer. It's because you fucking change your temperature by 60 degrees walking in and out of places. Douchebags.
Right now, the temperature in here is warm,
It is
arguably warm.
not even.
But if we
arguably.
stepped outside for 5 minutes
Oh,
or
yeah.
So
30 seconds
But
and
it's,
went back
it's
in here,
probably
you'd be like,
9
my
days
only-
here, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
my only
And I'm
issue,
okay with it.
My only issue is the spots of me that are on the couch here.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting some back sweat going leaning up against the couch. But other than that, I'm not actually sweating.
yeah.
It's not
but
that bad.
I can't perform in any other position than this. So
That's what she said.
when we do podcasts, I've got one arm over this way and one arm over this way. And my legs are man spread and I'm ready to go. And I can't podcast in any other position. That's not true.
ASMR.
ASMR.
Why do you guys keep bringing that up?
I do a little joke before the show every time, and I'll just whisper into the mic, ASMR. ASMR. ASMR.
Do you guys watch any of that stuff?
No,
No.
I've never actually seen one. I
Nope.
just see them pop up.
I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty interesting. It's very
Does it make
soothing.
you tingle?
To me personally, it does. And
Really?
I've suggested it to a bunch of people, and I get 50-50, like, oh, this is creepy, and oh my god, this feels so great.
And
So
the
it's-
weirdest ones are like
it's-
you'll see the thumbnails, and it's
fuck.
this hot chick, and she's like, it's like Lindsay reads the phone book.
Now I'm gonna have
ASMR.
Yeah, no, I don't. Those are weird.
Like-
and the chewing ones, I'm like, what? No, don't.
No,
like, I don't want to hear you
Wait,
chew.
the what?
I have
Chewing.
whatever.
Hold on.
there's
Hold on. Wait.
There's some
what?
sort of
There's
actual
chewing ones.
mental
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there's-
people eat.
thing. It's
And-
like audio something, and
Well, I don't know how
and
to
it's-
feel
It's
about
like-
that.
it's those people that get.
Like someone will nibble a chicken wing and it'll be
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll just hear.
I don't know about
and
that.
I get unreasonably upset when people do that.
Yeah, no,
I would-
that's very upsetting.
There was a
well,
guy
I
in
don't
the
know.
army that chewed with his mouth open, and he would eat lunch in the office every day, and he would just go and he would eat this just awful amounts of food, like 2 to-go boxes just full of everything you could possibly imagine that he could get from the dining facility, and it would just drive me
Ugh.
insane, like to the point that I went and ate by myself other places.
So the way I actually found ASMR was, have you guys ever heard of? I think his name is Pogo or something. He does like 3D music, so you have to listen to his music with headphones or
Oh, yeah.
earphones.
Like binaural beats and stuff.
Yeah, kind of.
That shit
And
is bomb.
he's got a song called Upular. So if you YouTube Upular 3D and you put on headphones, it's so weird because you're listening to this remix that he put together with clips from the movie Up, and it's like sometimes it's like the sound is here, then sometimes it's like it's here, and then like it'll go around. It sounds like it's going around your head. It's incredible. And then I just started looking for more things like that, and I came upon ASMR.
Interesting.
UPULAR?
Upular, huh?
Upular 3D.
Okay. I had to find my notes app real quick because it goes to my desktop too.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Synced.
Yeah, I'll go home and plug in the headphones and listen to some of that shit.
It's pretty cool, and it's an interesting song. It's kind of dig it a little bit.
Yeah, my son really digs those.
Well, because we're in stereo. See, I'm in your left ear,
Yeah.
and then if I'm gonna,
I've got my headphones on backwards.
now I'm in your other ear.
You're in my left ear now.
Here I go. I'm gonna walk back.
ASMR. ASMR.
Yeah. That's my ASMR is ASMR. ASMR.
You know,
ASMR.
with the ridiculousness of how popular those were for a while, I thought about just doing one and like reading the phone book or whatever, because people do that shit.
Yeah.
You'll see them and they come up in my suggested videos all the time, and I've never like sat through one, so I don't know what you're actually doing.
You should do that one and then make your that face app check your thumbnail.
Oh yeah, my thumbnail. Did you see the one where we face apped ourselves into girls?
Yes, I did. I saw that.
I
That
was pretty
hilarious.
as fuck. That'd hit me. I would.
My kid told me the other day, he goes, "You're the ugliest girl of the bunch." I'm like,
Oh, dude.
Ouch. Ouch.
My mom was like, "You're so pretty."
but I'm innocent
Thanks,
looking.
Ma.
I look like
Ouch.
somebody's gonna steal it away from me.
Yeah, I'm half tempted to shave and do and do one just to see if it looks any different, because I know it has to.
Well, it can't be. I mean, I've got a full beard and I did mine, so it can't be.
It has to
That
fill in a
different.
lot of weird spaces, and I look like that one that you used was really good, but in some of them I look really fat, and it's like, why do I look so fat?
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of good luck with. Like I've taken new selfies
Yeah,
to try to like
Pretty yourself
manufacture a prettier one,
up. Yeah.
but
yeah. I used that one from about 2 years ago that Alex took of me with my good camera, and it came out just gorgeous. I was really happy with it. I'd fuck me, just like Buffalo Bill. I'm
Ted
awful.
Levine's a great actor.
Yeah, he is.
You guys were talking about the heat, right? So it reminded me of when I took my motorcycle trip cross country a few years ago. One of the days, so the day we left LA, we got to Needles, California, or Needles, Arizona. I'm not sure.
It's right there near the border.
It's
Either way,
right at the border, so I'm not sure what state it's in.
maybe
And,
both.
It could be.
Could be one of those weird ones.
We rolled into Needles. It was about 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m., and it was 89, 90 degrees.
Ugh.
We pull into our motel, and I'm talking to the guy there like, wow, it's freaking hot. He's like, oh, this is nothing. Tomorrow by 9 a.m., it'll be 103 degrees out. And we were like, what?
Arizona's absurd.
Yeah.
It was rough. And that was September.
We get hot summers, but rarely is it this hot this early in the year.
We're not even in July yet.
And
We got snow 2 years ago.
realistically, it probably won't get this hot again for the rest of the summer.
Probably not.
No,
Which
yeah,
is good because we're
June,
used to it.
June has set some records. I'm betting this year.
We'll have
Oh,
a
yeah.
stretch in August where it's unbearable.
Yeah,
because we always do.
It's low
But,
triple digits.
Yeah, but not like this. This
No.
is unnaturally 117 degrees, 118 degrees.
But-
Fuck that.
Okay, so global warming, climate change.
Nope.
You don't think so?
Nope. I don't.
I
have
think
any
climate
faith in-
change. I don't think global warming. I think climate change.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, yeah. No,
It's
that
a
makes
cycle,
sense.
I
I
think,
agree
though,
with that.
and I think
Yeah, I
we're
agree
not
with
pulled
that.
back far enough to look at the cycle. I mean, you look at weather records, and they only go back about 140, 150 years,
exactly.
Right.
That's
and that's not on a geologic time scale. That's nothing. That's barely half a fart, and it's it's hard to conceptualize. Just thinking about size sometimes blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
And you think about how short our lives are. But I remember it getting this hot when I was a kid.
Well, sure.
It was regularly 114 in August, not in June.
Yeah.
No.
But they even said like there was a shift in the polar whatever, and so we hit a hot zone.
But you can't
at an
tell
odd
me
time.
you can't tell me that we're not impacting the planet.
No, we are.
No,
Okay.
We are.
absolutely we are, but not like you and me.
to the way.
Oh
that-
no.
But
to the extent
China
that
and India?
people.
Right. Well,
Talk about,
the problem
I
is
have-
we're not going to be able. There's nothing we can do about it because we can talk about it all day long.
It's like that meme
But
I shared today.
what am I going to do? What are you going
where
to do?
BP was like, "Oh, you should figure out your carbon footprint and figure out how
Yeah.
to shrink it." How about you go fuck yourself,
Yeah.
Mister? I'm going to dump a bunch of oil in the goddamn Gulf of Mexico,
Yeah.
Right.
or Exxon with their Valdez accident, and they killed all those animals up near Alaska. Like,
Yeah.
fuck those guys.
The
Fuck 'em in their
companies and the
stupid asses.
businesses that are doing all of the damage should do things to reassess how their carbon.
Apple
footprint-
should totally go over their Chinese factories and Nike, everybody who makes shit in China where there are no EPA standards. Fuck those people. Quit bitching about Americans using
How big is
plastic
Amazon's
fucking
carbon
sauce.
footprint with all the fucking plastic and cardboard that they generate?
Oh yeah. And you can't tell me that shit gets actually recycled. We have single stream recycling here, and I bet you 90% of it ends up in the landfill.
Mm-hmm.
People throw things in that blue bin because it makes them feel special.
Oh yeah, that's
they get
a
a little
comfort. That's a
warm,
comfort
fuzzy.
bin right there.
Like, oh, I can have another martini because I recycle. No, you can't,
and
Betty.
Look at how complicated the recycling process has gotten around here. I mean, in Clarkston, it's a nightmare of what you can and can't recycle anymore.
Right.
You can recycle cardboard, but we don't take it. You have to take it, but you only can take it to these specified locations. And we'll pick up cans, but we'll only do it on the second Thursday of every month. And it's
Way
Yeah,
too
you
can't.
complicated.
So you can't do
single
you know,
stream is you can
because
put
when I
all
was a
the
kid-
junk together in one container.
Yeah.
When I was a kid,
But then who's going to sort it?
Who cares?
Right.
I
Because
feel
it's just
good
going to
'cause I
landfill.
recycle.
Right. Yeah.
That's the point. And they
When-
can charge you an extra $22 a month.
when I was a kid, we had 3 cans. Well, no, actually, I guess it was 4 cans because we had garbage can, cardboard can, tin and aluminum can, or tin and plastic.
But those were the little
tin and plastic can
like
and
tub
then aluminum
cans.
can. No, they were,
Little bins.
yay big. They were, because it
No,
was-
like the blue, like you guys
Yeah, there was
have those
there
with
was
the blue recycling.
No, I'm
Yeah.
talking about like in the house.
Oh, you had recycle set up in your house.
We had well, yeah, because
Oh, fuck
we
that.
Yeah, we've got that. I have
We-
3 bins.
Yeah, we had 3 or 4 bins, and then whenever one of them got full, you took it
Yeah.
outside to the big bin.
To the
and
big
then
bin,
whenever the big
yeah.
bins got full, you took them to the recycling center. But then it started getting to where the recycling center was like, okay, well, we'll take plastic bottles, but we'll only take plastic bottles if you rip literally everything off of them and completely undress them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we won't take them and we'll reject them. Okay,
we can't do
fine.
the lids.
Okay, well, we're not.
they're
we're-
gonna haul them to the site and then haul them back.
We're taking glass, but we're only taking clear glass. Well, actually, now we're not going to take any glass anymore at all. And they've changed so many
rules.
rules about what they take that now we have our garbage, we have our cardboard, and we have our aluminum cans. And frankly speaking, the only reason we do the aluminum cans is because it's Matthew's chore, and Matthew gets money.
That's what we do for.
turning
That's
them
what we
in.
did. For my
Otherwise,
kids.
I really don't.
we
think
save them and
give
do
a
them
shit.
every year on Earth Day because they pay 50
Yeah, they
cents.
pay
it's-
fat.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
So we
double
we
the
run them
money
for
or
a
something.
year and then go get our 50 cents per pound.
Yeah.
But we got 50
And-
cents per pound when I was a kid.
Do you use that
We got
for
more
hookers
than
and
that.
blow?
Oh yeah.
Okay, 'cause you've got to use it on a vice, or else it's totally wasted as karma credit.
I'm really screwing up. I'm giving it
Well,
to
the
my
vice
kid.
is drinking the soda and the beer out of them in the first place. Did I sound like I just said soda?
Soda pop. Soda pop.
Soda.
No, you got to.
Do you guys say Coke, soda, or pop?
I say soda.
all of the above.
I say it depends on who I'm talking to and what the circumstances are. If I want but usually
Well-
I don't say cola. and I will say
I
pop,
like
but I mostly say soda. But soda was one of those ones that I kind of came onto at a later day when it when I became aware that it existed.
It was pop when I was a kid.
When I was a
But
kid,
there
it was
there
pop.
was a shift in the late 80s, early 90s to just everybody said soda. I didn't realize that a Coke was everything to people in Alabama until I was in the Army.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I had a guy from Alabama,
Really?
and he's like, I'm a Coke. I'll have a Coke. And they brought him a Coke, and he's like, that's not what I wanted. You didn't ask me what flavor I wanted, and I want a fucking Sprite flavored Coke. Like, that's not how it works, douchebag.
Yeah.
Your whole
It's like
name is a
Band-Aids.
Coke. Hopefully, this one person watching isn't from Alabama, but your whole inbred state is a fucking joke.
That's interesting.
Oh,
yeah.
There's a lot of people that consider they consider Coke soda. Like instead of saying, "Hey, I want a soda, I want a Coke," and like they'll pool Sprite, 7-Up.
Yeah, it's like
Fanta,
give me a Kleenex.
all that into a or a Band-Aid or something.
And that's
Yeah,
called
exactly.
a graveyard.
I don't want it. I don't want an adhesive bandage. I want a Band-Aid.
I didn't know that. It was always, if I wanted, do you have any Coke? I meant, do you have any
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
Do you have
yeah.
any soda? Or again, as
Soda
when I was a
is I
kid-
don't have a preference.
Yeah, basically, and it was pop when I was a kid.
Right.
Yeah, you were.
Okay.
But
So
You were
that's
6 or
me
7
too.
when the shift happened. I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
And sometimes for fun,
It was
I'll say
during the
soda
years
pop.
that my parents
Oh.
owned their boat. See, I'm not quite that old school. Come on down to the
Fizzy
fountain
bubbly.
and get yourself a soda
But you
pop,
have
boy.
all defeated Soda Popinski, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at least once.
So when
Mike
you
Tyson's Punch Out.
what do you call? Okay, so
ASMR.
I named it earlier, but what do you guys over here? Is it the same thing when you get multiple? Like you're on a fountain soda, and you're just doing.
Oh, I don't do
all
that
the
shit.
flavors.
That's gross.
Yeah, I was never a fan of
You
that.
know what
My-
it's called,
My kids
though?
called
I
it
d-
swamp water.
Oh, we called it graveyard.
Oh.
I didn't like it.
No, I think that's
It-
gross. I never
now,
did it.
every
'cause
once
I
in a
thought
while,
that
you
sounded
can
It's
figure
disgusting.
out-
bad. It's bad chemistry.
Every once in a while, you can figure out something that works.
Yeah,
Like-
maybe of 2 or 3 varieties,
like
but not
Coke,
7.
Like Coke, cream soda, and Mountain Dew.
Right, but
is
you're
awesome.
throwing diets in there and tea and shit too. So it's
Yeah.
like you're diluting the carbonation.
Do you guys have Stewart's cream soda?
I don't know.
I don't like
It's-
soda.
It's like crack. Oh my
Is
god,
it?
it's so good.
So
I like the A&W.
I don't care.
I've
for
had a
cream
couple.
soda.
Henry Weinhardt's is a little weird, but it mixes well with other things. If you want to do like a
I've
vanilla
never heard of those brands.
something,
I've seen Stewart's before. I think it's at
I don't think I've seen that one.
Winco.
I guess it's
They
a
make a
It
vanilla
reminds
cream.
me of Jones Cola though. Do you have Jones Cola?
Oh
over
yeah,
there?
Jones. We do have Jones.
Stewart's cream soda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
and it looks like they have an orange.
Yeah, I was
It
gonna
looks-
say they make an orange
Dreamsicle.
cream. I'll try that shit.
It
I
actually
love that.
Stewart's looks like what you'd find in the Hispanic food aisle, unrefrigerated.
You know, it does have a really Hispanic looking
Yeah.
packaging to it. Yeah.
What's that Hispanic soda? Oh man, everybody loves it. Oh, I'm not-
The Hispanic, it's orange, isn't it?
No, they make all sorts
Jarritos.
Yeah, they sell
Jarritos.
that at all the Mexican restaurants.
Oh
Dude,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen that everywhere.
There it is.
They're
There
good
it
though.
is. Beautiful.
Jarritos are good.
What is it called?
Jarritos.
Oh, wow. They make a pineapple one?
Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
That might be good.
Mandarin.
We have a
pineapple.
pineapple sake at work that is so fucking good.
I'm gonna need
Oh,
to come
God,
down there
it's
and get
good.
drunk on you sometime.
Dude.
I had a strawberry sake. Oh,
Yes, we
Oh,
have a
delicious.
strawberry nigori sake that is just really, really tasty. It tastes like strawberries dipped in boozy cream, basically. Like it's so fucking good.
Jesus. I'll do snooters
really
to
good.
that.
It's really good.
good.
And I'm not big on like flavored sake. I like a good crisp, like ricey. But
Do you drink?
nah,
Do you drink the fruity ones warm like you do the rice? Or no?
No.
Speaking
no,
of, like,
drink those cold.
So speaking of equity, like you never see these in a cooler anywhere. They're
No,
always on
very
the
rarely.
shelf. They're just dry storage on the shelf.
Yeah, they never put them in the cold
Like they're
storage. Like, no,
you know-
you need to cool this off yourself.
Yeah,
That's probably why I never buy them.
yeah, because you have
Honestly.
to. And they're.
I don't want
glass.
to buy a soda to take it home and cool it off and drink it later. Like if I'm buying a soda at the store, it's an impulse
Well,
buy.
and that-
I'm like, ooh, I want Dr.
Those
Pepper. Fuck yeah.
especially.
Are those
because
Pry Top though?
There are
Boy, I'd
times.
buy those if they were Pry Top and bottling them.
There are
Ooh.
times when you're like, I want
That's a good idea.
I want a really lime flavored something, and I only want one of them. And so them selling them only in 6-packs or half cases and only warm ruins that, because when you want that flavor, you want it right then.
Right.
You don't want to go home and
That's what I'm saying. They get bypassed.
And so it's one of those easy to turn down things because there's just too much friction there.
Maybe we'll have some for the pizza party episode.
I thought this was the pizza party episode.
I was saving it for after Bruno so that we didn't have a
Oh, so we weren't just eating in Bruno.
ASMR distraction.
ASMR.
Plus the heat wave prompted me not to turn my oven on.
I totally get that. Because God forbid it shut off in the middle of shit.
My mother, God bless her, and I love her very much, she tried to get me to grill hamburgers yesterday for dinner.
Did you fucking fire her?
No,
You're fired.
She
You're
goes,
no longer my mother.
She's like, well, we've got these buns left over from camping, and I don't want them to go bad. And I said, Mom, I don't want them to go bad either. But there is no fucking way
Throw them in the freezer.
that I am going to go
worried about
stand in front of the grill right now. What? And she was like, well, maybe I'll do it. It's like, no, you won't do it either.
No, you'll barely turn that shit on. You'll be like, it's too hot out here for this nonsense.
When the weatherman says you should only go outside if you have to, that's not when you go stand in front of a goddamn grill. Like, sorry, order pizza.
When I open the door and the dog
God
sprints,
damn.
pisses as fast as he's ever pissed in his 7 years of life and runs back inside, it's not time to grill burgers.
Yeah, my dog was trying to get in on the upstairs, and we only let her in downstairs typically. And so I was like blocking her from getting out. She's standing there trying to fight me to get in, and then her paw, like the pads on her paws, were like starting to cook on the deck, and so then she's like,
Jesus,
off.
Poor dog.
I'm like, sorry,
you can't come in the upstairs. This isn't your domain. Goodbye.
She just knocks everything over. Plus, I'm wound tight too. So
Yeah, big dogs are kind of
a pain in the ass.
Yeah. When Chewie's excitable, I'm just like, fuck, dude, calm down. You're 7.5 years old,
and you still act like you're a 6-year-old kid.
You're in your 50s in dog years. It's time to calm the fuck down.
Quit acting like my grandpa.
Stop humping the neighbor lady.
So,
get your nose out of her butthole.
Speaking of sake and work, I'll use that.
Oh,
to segue into your
riding that
to
Segway like
segue
Paul
into.
fucking Blart, dude.
So it's our restaurant is small. There are 3 booths, 2 tables. Well, if you count the 2 tables that are like in Morgan's Alley outside of the restaurant, there are 3 booths, 4 tables, and like 6 seats at the bar. We're a small place.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I've only worked there for about 7 weeks now. It doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while, you'll have the extreme misfortune of having like 3 or 4 parties all show up within 3 minutes of each other.
So everybody's
and then it's like, dude, you're at a sushi bar where there are 2 sushi chefs. And if everybody in those parties orders a total of 6 rolls apiece, guess what? That 4th party, they're going to be waiting a fucking minute.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that wound up happening on Saturday night, this last Saturday. And coincidentally enough, on top of that, the 4th couple who came in, the husband ordered sushi, but the wife ordered bite size and salad and stuff from Seasons, our sister restaurant. Well, Seasons wasn't busy at the time. So she got her bite size in like 10 minutes, maybe 12.
Yeah.
And it was 35 minutes and he still hadn't gotten his sushi. So she's done eating. And they're both just sitting there and he's drinking his beers. And
I will say that would aggravate.
I'd lose my shit.
It would aggravate me too.
Yeah.
I would have waited on cooking hers until it was is being done.
Well, see,
that would have been
the
that's
trick
a rookie move.
The trick about that is there's only so much communication that we have between kitchens, and so dude has to wait a hot minute.
Because I can picture you going back there and being like, "Hey, can you like hold off on this meat?" Like you'd just get like the dumbfounded stare back from your
that seems like something you guys should workshop and
person.
figure out exactly how to make that not happen. Because I assume he ordered more beers than he would have normally, so you kind of probably made money on it. But he was also probably hungry and drunken.
We didn't make any money on it.
No,
because I voided out a bunch of his stuff to try and make nice. Because he only drank 2 beers while he was there. Like, no, he didn't get all sauced up or anything. But again, it's not Applebee's,
right?
It's Tina and Ryan, my bosses. They literally go to the store every single day to buy ingredients. It's not. As one of the nice people who I will reference later in the story said, if you want fast food, go to Taco Bell.
What's the biggest chain you guys have around there?
That's
not fast food.
McDonald's.
Yeah, that's not.
That's not fast food.
Applebee's,
probably
or Red Lobster.
Applebee's or Red Lobster.
I'm trying to think of
Red Lobster's been here for 20 some years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they prevented so many other chains from coming here.
Well, Happy Day, really.
Yeah.
No, Red Lobster's the big one.
Do you guys have any hibachis?
No. That'd be great, though.
Yeah, I would totally.
You ever been to a Gyukaku? They're fucking amazing.
We only have so many, is it liquor licenses in the Valley, too?
Yeah,
that
there's a
holds
limited
back a
number.
lot,
That's
too.
the big problem because we don't have a full liquor license.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But so dude has to wait a hot minute for his food. I brought him some extra appetizers. I don't want to blow myself or anything, but I'm not fucking bad at my job. I did my best to
smooth it over. And not to overgeneralize, but he was one of those, welcome to Idaho. I make a living working construction and paving roads. This guy's probably smiled like 6 times in his life. Kind of guys,
You from California eating sushi?
Yeah. And,
fucking cocksucker.
And
I know that guy.
So anyway, I could tell when I took him his 3rd beer that he was like impatient. His wife was still eating, but he was getting impatient. So I go from his table down through the restaurant, past the tables to the sushi bar. What are the next rolls that are coming up and how much longer is it going to be? Oh, it's for this table and it's going to be like, I've already got one of the 2 rolls done. It's going to be another maybe 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, perfect. Because he's getting impatient. And I walk back to his table and right as I start to say, I just talked to the chef, he just starts sliding all of their stuff towards me, towards the end of the table. His full beer, her empty margarita, her plates, everything. And he goes, you might as well just cash me out, brother, because I'm fucking done with this. And I was like, oh, okay, I understand that, man. I'm sorry about the wait. I was just coming to tell you that it's going to be literally another 2 minutes for your food. But if you want to leave, you can leave. And he's like, another 2 minutes? I've been waiting 35 minutes all the way. And he proceeds, this is fucking ridiculous. I don't know what the fuck you people think you're doing. I don't know what the fuck they're doing back there, blah, blah, and I'm keep explaining to him, I'm like, dude, there's 2 people making sushi for everybody in this place. They watch them for 5 minutes. They're not just standing there pulling their prick.
Yeah.
They're working.
And really, the sushi chef's come already twice, and he can't get enough jizz ready for your order, sir.
And so I'm like, okay, I understand. Don't worry about it. I'll go get you your check. So I go back to the register and I get him his check. And I voided off her booze, his booze, literally everything except for the one meal of bite size that she ordered because she ate the whole fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I voided everything else off. And I'm walking back up to his table. And again, dude's like, I'm not fucking paying for this. I'm not fucking paying for this. You can fucking crack that. And he's hitting the table every time to enunciate his points.
Mm-hmm.
And every time he finishes his sentence, his wife goes, let's just go. Let's just go. Tim, let's just go. Let's just go.
Age?
Early 50s.
Cool.
Mid 50s. And
that Timothy Oliphant.
No, his name starts with an H. I can't remember what it is.
Did he pay his bill?
So
whatever was left that you gave him?
He gets like 3 taps into the table of telling me what he's not going to pay for, and I was like, dude, I already cleared everything off of your bill except for your wife's one plate of food.
Because she mouthed that fucking shit down. You want your money back
Shoot
for that?
up, Timmy.
She
I said-
spits it up in the
I
napkin
said,
here.
because you shouldn't have to pay for it because of your inconvenience of having to wait. So here, and so again, my restaurant, you guys haven't been in it. It's
Yeah, I have.
smaller than the room we're in.
I haven't been in there when you were
well,
there.
yeah, not while I've been there, but yeah. It's
I've
smaller.
been in Morgan's
it's,
Alley
it's, it's smaller than the room we're in. And so everybody can hear what's going on. The table sitting next to him has a freaking like 13-month-old baby at it that this dude is like shouting fuck words at. So the parents are really loving that.
Father
And
of the year.
so then I hand him his thing and I start picking up his stuff. And I'm like, again, I'm really sorry. Like, there's only so much that we can do. I tried to explain to you that it was going to be a wait. I'm sorry that your wife got her food faster than you. I understand it's frustrating, but it is what it is. And I start picking up his stuff and he like very loudly slams the pen down on the little thing and draws a big slash line. He's like, well, you're definitely not getting a fucking tip for this bullshit. I'm going to blast you guys on Facebook so fucking hard. This is the stupidest. It just, again, dude, so many fuck words. So many fuck words.
Blast
And-
you on Facebook.
Blast you on Facebook.
Yeah,
is
right.
this, do you want to step
Yeah.
outside?
Yeah. And
big
I can't wait. I
So-
can't wait to take you down on Facebook
yeah.
on LC
And-
Valley
on
Reviews.
LC Valley
Wait until I
Reviews.
Yelp your
got your
butthole.
number. And so then he slams his pen down again to sign his name. And yeah, he says that I'm going to blast you guys on Facebook.
Because,
And
by the way, that always
I'm-
goes super well
Yeah, right.
for
And
everybody
I'm
involved.
taking the thing away from him after he says that. And I said, well, man, if you feel the need to do that, you go right ahead. But if you keep swearing at me like this, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. He stands up and he goes, you don't have to fucking ask me to leave. I'm fucking gone. Let's go to fucking Main Street. Well, you know, and he's and
So he can wait another 40 minutes
yeah,
for
right.
food?
I
Like,
know, and that was my thought. Was
I'll feed
like,
you steak again, bitch.
yeah. So anyway, so he's in the booth, which is farthest away from the exit of the restaurant. So he has to walk past 2 tables and 2 booths, as well as any people that might be sitting at the bar when he goes. He walks past the first table, and it's this trio.
They slow
of,
clap his exit. Oh,
are
God.
you a prognosticator? They didn't slow clap his exit. He's walking past them on this side, and I'm walking past them on this side. And the dude is right here and turns his head away from the guy and looks at me and goes, you know, man, you should be really proud of how you just handled that guy because he was being a real asshole. And I can't believe somebody would act like that in public while the guy is walking past him. So the lady, one of the 2 ladies who's sitting at the table with this guy, goes, yeah, you know, that guy was really being an asshole. Good for you. And she starts clapping. And the other 2 people at their table start clapping. And everybody in the restaurant starts applauding as this dude is walking out of the restaurant. And they're all like, yeah, man, screw that guy. You were really nice about that.
So the TLDR of the story is Ron got the clap from an entire restaurant.
Yeah, I got a round of applause from an entire fucking restaurant for handling. And dude,
Not a round of applause.
Only
Now,
because
the
they
clap.
got their
Clap.
food.
now what's really
Bruno
great?
got it.
No,
I got it. I got it.
3 of those 4 tables were still waiting
Still
for their
waiting
food.
for their food.
That's the thing. One of the guys goes, I mean, yeah, like I want my food and I'm tired of waiting, but I'm definitely never going to act like that in public.
I'm not going to say cocksucker.
And it was so fucking great. I had one guy who was like, what did he say? He's like, you must have kids. And I said, yeah, I've got a 12-year-old and a 5-year-old. Why? And he goes, because that's how I would imagine someone handling their child.
Jesus.
It was fucking great. But the kicker of the story, the best thing about it is not only did I get a round of applause from all of these people, but 2 of those 4 tables tipped me 50%.
Nice.
The third one tipped me 40%, and the other one tipped me like 30-something%. So
Dude.
this guy's little outburst made me so much fucking money
I need
when
to come
he
down there
thought
when
he
you're
was
busy
making
and
a point to be like,
make
oh, I'm not
outbursts.
fucking tipping you.
Because
And-
20%'s the standard now.
yeah.
Right? 20 to 25.
15 to 25 is
Well,
about
right.
the,
No, yeah. I mean, when you get
Depending.
your ticket, they say 10, 15, 20 is usually what's on there
yeah.
for gratuity if
Yeah.
you want to fill it.
Yeah.
Like they give those.
I go Mr. Pink
To
in my
you.
head every time, and I still tip 20%.
I do too.
I just like, this is fucking bullshit. Restaurants should pay their people. I don't care if I have to pay more for my
Well,
food.
and I know it sucks too
But I
because
shouldn't.
I don't know if it's still the case now, but they used to pay like $2 under the minimum wage.
I
Yeah.
make a lot better money hourly than most restaurant workers in Idaho. Put it that way.
Nice.
What's the name of the place you work at, or do you
Old
not
Town
want to share?
Sushi.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's like Old Town Road, but with sushi. Less gay people.
The music definitely popped into my head.
Yeah.
I bring home more now than I did with the CCI job working,
Full time?
Yeah.
Wow.
and I only work 26 hours a week.
Tight.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like a
Nice.
tiger.
Yeah, instead of working 40 hours a week, I work 26 and I make more money.
And she
So-
managed to snatch you up before everybody didn't have people to work for them.
Oh no, we're still desperately.
But she got you before
Well, yeah.
this crisis of
Di-
nobody
so-
wanting to work happened.
So
God.
Bruno, I don't know if you heard because I mentioned it on a previous story
Mhm.
about how I got the job, but I was on a date with my girlfriend at this restaurant. And-
Wait, you mention that on this podcast? The previous
Yeah, on a,
episode?
Yeah,
on
he
a
has.
previous show.
At least once.
Oh, I didn't catch
Um,
it.
I was on a date with my girlfriend and I was talking to Tina, the owner, about wanting to come in and learn how to roll sushi.
Oh, yes. I
Yeah.
definitely
And she
remember
was
this.
like, well, if you want to learn, come
Yep.
work for me. And yeah,
Yep.
I started like 4 or 5 days later and it's been fucking great. I have
Dude,
3
that's
days off
awesome.
every week. I work in the
That's
evenings,
awesome.
but I get home before the kids have to go to bed. Like it is perfect.
Perfect.
But yeah, so I got a fucking full blown room full round of applause. And
Nice.
I
He
honestly,
still refuses to call it the clap.
no. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know that I've ever felt better at work or in a workplace environment than in that little moment right there.
I'm looking it up. Old Town Sushi.
Old Town Sushi.
Well, we passed the 7 o'clock hour and did not have our power
Yeah, we
cut.
haven't been shut off.
So, and the last of the
That's
rolling
far.
power outages was from 7 to 8. So you might have gotten skipped.
I think we might have got skipped. Yeah.
I know
okay, so
they'd said,
one
Color
thing
me
happened
surprised.
because we're in that Boys and Girls Club block,
Mhm.
and when Boys and Girls Club posted that, like a shitstorm of parents came on and were having a fucking hemorrhage about it.
were they? So maybe
Yeah,
they did skip
because
your block.
like that's my daycare basically,
Well, yeah,
and
'cause
so they
it's
maybe have like
maybe
changed
$50 for
their
the
mind.
summer for a membership, and they can go there all day, every day.
Yeah.
It was absurd when I worked there. How many kids almost lived there? They spent more time there than anywhere else.
Is
My-
this place
my
next to
Son
Morgan?
has a good
Alley?
relationship with the Boys and Girls Club people, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
I
The
like
staff has always been fantastic.
Like, he-
except when I was a member.
he had a really
the
combative
rest
one
of the staff
early
was
on,
awesome, but
and then like
I was
now
also
he
there.
goes to hang out with like to visit them.
Cool.
Like you should go to work for him.
Yeah.
When you're old enough.
Fuck yeah.
But
So half of their people come out of their teen program, and who they get as staff.
yeah.
They go to college here in town, and they end up just working at the Boys and Girls Club from 2:30 to whenever.
Yeah. I should talk. How old do you have to be to start working there?
18. 'Cause
18?
There's a teen program through
Oh, okay.
high school, so yeah,
Is it the building that says Morgan's Alley?
it is.
Yeah.
That
that's
building's
it.
haunted as fuck.
Yeah, it is, dude. The
Why is
ghost
that
tried
building-
to kill my coworker.
Why is that
Isn't
building
Derek? I
haunted?
think is doing comedy there this weekend.
No, he's at Town Square.
Town Square.
Brock's and Bravo.
Oh,
Oh.
Brock's. That's right.
Really?
How is Derek?
I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know.
haven't seen him in a long time.
He's doing good. I think I'm supposed to go and play frisbee golf with him tomorrow morning.
What a
Cool.
stupid idea.
Ew.
Like maybe in a few weeks, but
yeah,
not
man,
tomorrow.
not tomorrow.
Well, we're doing it like 6:30, but even still, it's still going to
Dude,
be
yeah, it's
fucking
It's going to be like
scorching.
75,
Ugh.
80 degrees.
I know.
75 would be all right, but once you hit 80, you don't want to be frisbee golfing.
But we're going to do it for like an hour, I think, so I can
Mm.
get back in time to work.
Mm.
But
I didn't know he was doing comedy here soon.
Oh, you didn't get the invite?
No.
Oh, Yeah, I think it's Friday.
No,
I
I'm
can't
gonna
make it.
I'm gonna put Derek on blast here and say he does not invite me to the things that he posts on Facebook for one reason or another.
Yeah, I can't go because I've got my son. But
When is it? Saturday,
it's
Friday?
Friday night, I think.
Fudge!
Friday night.
I might actually be able to go to that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to go.
I'll give you the deets.
Yeah, he and
Yeah.
D-Cats are doing comedy.
Oh,
Is
both
it-
of them?
Yeah.
Oh,
I ran
Dustin's
into
doing
Dustin here the week or two ago, and he was sauced up and lamenting missing the wrestling show so much. It was so funny. He was like, "It was seriously one of my favorite things that I did every week." Like it was.
It was a good time.
Yeah,
I had
he
fun.
really enjoyed it, and he was very, very. I mean, he was drunk, but
he
was
would not
very,
like
very-
this show,
So-
or I'd bring him on this show.
Yesterday
No, I
morning.
don't think he'd like this show.
because he's an anarcho-communist. But
I don't think he'd like this show either.
I had to go to a county commissioners meeting yesterday for the lodge, and one of the guys was like, he's like, "Where did you come? Like, where do you come?" And I was like, "I'm through Bob and Lisa." He's like, "Oh, Bob swore me in 33 years ago," and then he started talking about my grandpa, my great grandpa, who was the sheriff, and he's like, "Did you know he used to wrestle?" I was like, "Yeah, I did." He was the promoter in the area. He was like, "This area is Vince McMahon." And he was like, "Yeah, I have some old newspaper articles of him on the cover in his wrestling gear and talking about
Dude,
it."
you should snag that up. That's
That's
cool.
awesome.
Oh, Bub's
I'm
got
missing
it.
me some Elks meetings, man. I missed one, but it feels like I've missed like a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and there's not another one until the third Tuesday of this month.
We're not doing another one next weekend.
No, the first. Everybody will be in Tampa for the national thing,
that's right.
and that guy from Idaho is going to rule the country's worth. It'll be fantastic. But yeah, we've got the barbecue on Sunday, and you should bring your kids out to that 4th of July, 5:00. You could come help because most of the people who would normally help are going to be in Tampa. So, and we're doing it inside. We're not doing it outside.
Okay.
It was supposed to be outside, but it's going to be triple digits. So,
I'll
no.
see what we got going on.
But yeah, we don't have a meeting until the 3rd, and then August is just the first meeting, and then the second one is not there.
Oh wow!
Because we have 3 months that we can cut a meeting out.
And they
every-
do it during the summers
and they
because
do
people are
July
busy.
and August, and then December. We don't do the second meeting in December because people
Holidays.
want to go for holidays.
Right,
But yeah, it's
makes sense.
I love it. I love it out there. I love the people.
Is it John McAfee?
I
Is
should
that
really
his
get
name?
involved.
McAfee.
McAfee?
I don't know.
Yeah. McAfee?
The virus dude.
Suicide or murder? I am on the murder side.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he
Samesies.
was Epstein, but I don't think Epstein died either.
You know,
I don't think
I
so.
was thinking about it. And the first thing that occurred to me was also that. But I don't know. I'm leaning towards actual suicide for this one.
Really?
I
'Cause
mean, this
he's
guy's
been talking
been.
for a year that
He
he won't.
seemed unhinged.
Well, yeah.
Well, he was living in Cambodia for a long time, and then because he was in, states that don't extradite to the U.S.
Right.
Because he was on the run for years, many years.
Yeah, it was tax evasion and child fucking, wasn't it?
I
Or
don't
something
know. I don't
along those
remember
lines.
what it was.
Yeah,
But
I
I
think
just
he's a shitbag for sure.
so he got caught, and then he was being held until he was extradited, and then they passed. They didn't pass anything, but they approved his extradition to the U.S., and that's when he died. So I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know. It could be.
It's
You never
hard
know, though.
because he had somebody on the outside he was talking to that was running his Twitter account, and he'd said things like, "I will not kill myself. I don't care what happens. I'm happy. My mind is my own, and if I die," and he even got a tattoo that said "whacked" because he was sure he was going to be killed when he
What did he have any kind of information or something, or what was
He
what was
claims
it
he
about?
had terabytes of information and a dead man switch, and I haven't seen anything come of that yet, except a couple of little like blips on the radar. It'll be interesting to see if it does come of anything.
I have to wonder though
Because-
if it's just like
So many people have
Him
had dead man
goosing.
switches, and none of them have gone off.
yeah. Like maybe if a guy wants to kill themselves, has enough power, wouldn't it be fun to fuck with people
That's true.
and say that I don't have any intent on killing myself? And then ultimately does. And then like the people that buy into a lot of that shit are really fucking gullible and susceptible to, it's almost like a prey. They're prey
I
to
don't know.
fun in a way.
I just like I get it with Epstein because like this guy goes to jail. He's in jail for a few weeks or months, and then he's dead all of a sudden. When you know he had so many powerful people around him, but this guy was on the run for years. Why? I mean, if someone wanted to get rid of him,
They would.
I feel like they had years to do it.
Yeah, I can buy that.
Why
But he had a shitload of money, and if you have a shitload of money, you can cover yourself pretty good if you're not in a jail cell. And
I mean, not to say that I don't
But
believe.
why wouldn't he have died sooner than now?
Yeah.
Like he's been incarcerated for a while.
True.
But like that to me is the only reason why I think it was an actual suicide, because it was like right after he found out that they were going to extradite him is when he died.
Right.
Here's the quote.
Unless
I've collected files on corruption in governments. For the first time, I'm naming names and specifics. I'll begin with a corrupt CIA agent and 2 Bahamian officials coming today. If I'm arrested or disappear, 31 plus terabytes of incriminating data will be released to the press. He tweeted that on June 9th of 2019. 11 days later, he added, the instant I disappear, the information is released. These names would be crazy to kill me or collect me. They are simply praying I live forever. If it's released, revenge takes over and I'm dead. But see, and that's one of the reasons I don't put any faith in any of these dead man switches, because none of them have triggered.
Have come in like have
pulled it doesn't mean they haven't triggered just because you haven't seen any information. Doesn't mean they haven't triggered. Because I mean, who controls
because
the press,
the other devil's advocate, they were biding their time on killing him in order to squash whatever it was that he was going to release. And so once they got whatever he was going to release under control, that's when they're like, I'm gonna suicide you.
Yeah.
Now
maybe they figured out where his shit was and got it either suppressed or deleted. And
And how many times have you heard of reporters like, oh, I've got the next big story, and their editor just squashes the story.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not happening. No, we're not. There's something better. There's something better, you know?
Yeah. And you wonder,
because the editor is getting pressure from
on 4chan yet, or Reddit, or Reddit. I understand because that's mostly Chinese now. But yeah, whatever. But I don't know. There's a part of me. I love conspiracy theory. I've been digging into it since I could read. Like it's one of my bread and butter topics. But the more I dip into that shit, I just think it's the people who move up into positions of power. The people who even want to be there are sociopaths. And the ones that come from old money, that they're like, oh, these people eat children and fuck their corpses and whatever, like horrible shit they say. Part of that is that they live these lives of zero consequence, and they have to do something terrible to just feel something, because they're so numb by the time they hit 40 or 50 years old, because no one's ever told them no, and they've done the partying in Vegas, they've done the partying in Spain and the Bahamas and Mexico. They've been to the donkey shows. They've done the people hunting in Cambodia, like all of that shit. And then they just like, what is going to make me feel powerful? Because I've been at this level of power my whole life. So it's commonplace to them. Whereas like you or I, if we won the lottery, it'd be like, holy fuck, I have all this money. And once you get past paying off your house and all your debt, you're like, I'm going to go fucking hog wild. Because
how people that win the lottery go broke.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason poor people are poor, and those habits don't change just because you got a shitload of money. And these people are so ingrained in this their whole life, everything they do affects thousands of people at a minimum because they run corporations or countries or whatever. And so they do these horrible fucking things just to feel something. Because you hear people say that, like, well, why did you do that? Because I needed to feel something. I mean, you see it in the Spider-Verse when I let matches burn all the way down to my finger just so I can feel something. Like, that's a real human thing.
Yeah.
As much as it seems silly because Nicolas Cage is saying it is a fucking cartoon, a black and white cartoon inside of a really super colorful cartoon. It seems silly, but it's true. Like, if you're so numb and jaded to everything,
Right.
sometimes just really horrible shit is all there is. I'm glad I'm not there. I'm glad I'll probably won't have enough time in any sort of real position to ever feel that way, but I get it. I mean, it's like I understand why 2-year-olds are assholes. They're assholes because for the majority of their life, everything has been done for them and they've been waited on hand and foot. And then suddenly people are trying to expect them. You mean I have to shit on that seat? Why do I have to shit on that seat? I can't shit in my pants.
Yeah.
And you
It's also
clean
a
it up?
youngest kid thing. My youngest my daughter is 8, but she's still like, there's times when like her little infant brain jumps through.
Yeah.
And she just, because she wants something, she thinks she deserves it right now and give it to me now.
Well, and
it's
then
like,
you look at it, they
Nope.
bitch about teenagers. Oh, teenagers these days. No, teenagers in every age. Do you remember, and I've said this before on the show 100 times, do you remember how much you knew at 16? You knew everything in the fucking world at 16.
Yeah.
You were an expert on every subject. And like, I know so
Had it
much
figured
more
out,
now
man.
than I
knew
did
what I was
then.
going to do. It was
Because
figured out then.
I had no
Whoops.
idea how big everything was
Whoops.
when I was 16.
yeah, no.
I was the master of my everything.
When
And
I
now
was
know
16,
so
I was
much
going to
more.
bust into Hollywood. That was my, like, well, I mean, but I thought it was going to be easy. Like, I just moved to California. I'll move to California and I'll write a script and give it to Quentin
It'll be
Tarantino
huge.
or, whatever it was. I was just like, it's like instantaneous, going to happen overnight.
Yeah, but you would have written a script and it would have gone in the trash because it didn't follow the formula.
Right.
You wouldn't even have thought about Save the Cat or whatever it is that everybody read and decided that's how we're going to make scripts from now on. It's
Tarantino's on the new Rogan, the latest Rogan episode.
Oh, no
really?
shit.
That might be
I'm
one I
excited
listen to.
listening to that.
Ooh.
I'm excited to listen to that.
I don't listen
That
to a
should
lot
be
of
fun.
Rogan, but that might be one I pick up because Tarantino was one
I
of
like
the
listening to him.
just because he's so like he can talk with his hands in audio form.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he's
He
very,
does. He's a very entertaining personality.
Yeah.
I like him.
I mean, Tarantino's one like a guy that I followed from a very early age, and I think probably a lot of people my age that were interested in that type
yeah.
of medium did. So it's not like I don't consider myself unique by any means, but I
He
do think a lot of
was-
people that were like, oh, because it
What-
was like Tarantino, Rodriguez, and those types of guys
Yeah.
that were coming up. Linklater was another one. I
What
didn't
he
follow him very
did-
closely, but
what
like
he did
Kevin
with
Smith.
Reservoir Dogs, and then with Pulp Fiction on
Right.
right behind it. It was
See, I didn't see Reservoir Dogs
was
for a
a
long
really
time.
big
I didn't
deal.
see
Same.
Reservoir Dogs until
Same.
after Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction was
Same.
the first one I saw.
I saw
And-
Pulp Fiction because it had that big push.
Yeah,
Harvey
And-
Weinstein.
and it was so good. Like
Oh yeah,
Reservoir Dogs is a good movie, but it's not on the level.
it's got
like,
that. It's
Pulp
got
Fiction
that
was when he really figured it out.
quality to it. Reservoir Dogs is definitely a first outing as a director.
it's a
low like a lower
it's a
budget.
fucking dirty movie.
Yeah,
Like,
but
it's just-
but it's cool.
it's very cool, but it's very almost handy-cammy.
Yeah,
Just the way it's done, and that's okay. And I like it for what it is.
And that was the budget. Was the
Yeah, that was what they were working with.
yeah.
But it, you could shoot a higher quality thing with an iPhone,
Well, it was like
Oh yeah,
and it's
Absolutely.
wild.
El
that that's
Mariachi
where we
versus Desperado
Yeah,
because
Oh,
El
yeah.
Mariachi was the first outing,
iteration
and
of
then
Desperado, basically, yeah.
and then Desperado.
And Rodriguez is one of those guys that his filmmaking style suffered when he got more budget because he got to do the stupid shit that was in his head.
Yep,
Like-
right here.
Yeah,
Like you look
agreed.
at Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and like shotguns do not blow people 50,000 feet backward. Like, it just doesn't work that way.
He did the best that he could with what he had with Desperado,
which felt cooler,
which was great. And then
he got one absurd scene when Steve Buscemi's telling the story to Cheech.
Yeah.
And he's the biggest fucking Mexican. Yeah. Like, that whole thing, that was his. And I thought, okay, that's cool because he's telling a story.
It was like fantasy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas everything in Once Upon a Time in Mexico was that way. And I was just like,
it feels like fantasy.
When you make every scene that way, then it takes away from what you're doing.
And
from Dusk Till Dawn that just gets his eye blown out and it just keeps going like, no, I'm cool.
Nope, I'm all right.
Like, what?
I'm just waiting for them to make noises.
Did you guys watch 4 Rooms?
Yeah. Several times.
4 Rooms is one of my favorites.
It's a really, really fun, great movie.
I love that where they're making the big scene before he chops off the dude's finger. And it's just the tension's building, and you think that it's building in Tim Roth, but it doesn't. He waits for them to stop chopping, chops off the finger, takes the money, and walks out.
And he's gone.
It's like,
yes,
genius.
I haven't watched that yet, but it's on my list.
Oh, really? It's great.
Get to it. Wow. And I'm not
it's a really great show.
I just dry humped the spoilers.
If you were HUDs right now, and I said get to it, you'd be like, nah. But you should. It's a fun watch.
Yeah, that's the one where it was like the 4 different directors, right?
Tim
stories,
Roth is the bellhop in a hotel that connects the 4 different stories together.
And the only 2 directors' names I remember are Tarantino and
Rodriguez.
I did watch that. It's in a hotel, and the guy's dealing with 4 different rooms or whatever.
Yeah.
I did watch that.
One of them's like a dead hooker in the mattress, right?
Yeah, that's Rodriguez.
There's some witches,
and there's
the rich people in the penthouse.
The rich people that are
that leave the kids, right?
Sex game with them.
No.
Yeah. And then isn't
there one where there's some kids in one of the rooms?
Yeah, that's the dead hooker.
That's the dead hooker one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the 25-year-old movie.
Yeah.
So I think it was the last episode or second to last episode. You guys were talking about some B movie. Do you guys really into B movies like that?
He is.
Ron is.
Really?
Big time.
Okay.
I actually learned it was something I was excited to share with everybody tonight because last night I watched 2 movies. I watched Censor, which is the one I was telling you guys about, which I shared a trailer for it in the podcast chat. It's on Vudu. It's on Prime. It costs $7 to rent, but it is if you like artsy, slow burn horror movies that are almost kind of up their own ass a little bit, you would like it. It reminds me a lot of something that would have come out in the early mid 80s. There's some real Carpenter vibes to it. It has a lot of similarities with a lot of Suspiria and a few other Dario Argento movies. It has that really stark lighting, high contrast, bombastic synth score shit that was really popular in the Italian 70s movies and early 80s movies. But it's a really great show. I really enjoyed it. But on top of that, I watched a little just hour-long documentary about Michelle Bauer, Linnea Quigley, and who was the third gal they were talking about? It was about the rise and fall of scream queens in the early 80s with Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and Slumber Party Massacre and
love that one.
I didn't even realize it was Linnea Quigley and Pumpkinhead too, but yeah. Shout out to Pumpkinhead movies; they're great.
What? So is it mainly B horror movies, or is there just B movies in general?
It started with B horror movies.
What exactly about B-rated movies?
Micro budget filmmaking fascinates me.
Okay,
seeing
I've never what
people do with shoestring budgets.
I should show you the movie. Well, I've made a couple
really fascinating
cheap ass movies.
I would love to see them. I absolutely would.
I'll have to convert them to digital and give them to you. I'd love to have you watch them. They're stupid as fuck.
It started with, but anyway, so I was I was watching this documentary about the Scream Queens and stuff, and do you know, either of you or any of you actually, do you know where the term B movie comes from?
No.
I always assumed it was correlated with action.
I always thought I thought it was
So
budget.
the drive-in movie theaters, as they were starting to die
Wayne.
out
I got it.
Yeah.
from
like
the
the
from the
B-side of a
50s
record.
of the 70s. Yes, exactly. You would go to the drive-in theater, and it was always a double feature. And the A movie was the family movie that you went and watched and was more of a blockbuster feel and more available and accessible to everybody. And then the B movie that played later was the movie that you hope your kids are asleep for so you can fool around with your lady in the front seat, or that was the one that you took your girlfriend to or whatever. That's where the term B movie actually came from.
There's nothing like finger blasting your wife when your kids are sitting asleep.
While they're sitting
back
asleep
seat.
3 feet behind you. But no, it started with B movie
Did
horror.
you hear something?
I watched a lot of
ASMR.
ASMR. I heard something. I watched a lot of like Mystery Science Theater and stuff of that nature when I was younger, and that's what kind of started to formulate it, and it just grew from there. There's nothing more than I love than a really, really shitty movie where the people were genuinely trying and just failed. Like movies like Sharknado and stuff where they deliberately set out to make something stupid, that doesn't tickle my funny bone in the way of like, oh, they really, really tried. And it's
so Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and Attack of the Killer Donuts.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was an honest shot.
It was.
I think they weren't
really
trying
was.
to make a shitty movie.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes reminds me a lot of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, where
God, that was good.
They
so
knew,
underrated.
They knew what they were making, but they really did genuinely try. Whereas you have something like Sharknado, where they very deliberately are like, no, we're gonna make this as quote unquote bad good as we can.
So one of my best friends, he's a writer, and so the 2 shorts that I've produced, he wrote, and him and I collaborate a lot together. He's written a lot of comic books and stuff like that, and he comes from, he grew up in that world watching B-rated horror movies and things like that. So his genre is typically horror and B-rated horror, and he's always trying to get me to produce some B-rated horror, and I'm not into it. So obviously he's written other stuff besides that.
Is this the guy that you had me read that script for?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
So
script.
I would love to know some of the
wrote
stuff that he's done. I would be interested to see some of the stuff that he's done, because I love one of he has many movies on Amazon Prime. His name's Len Kabaczynski, and he is I think he's a triple black belt now, like martial artist, who he makes 90-minute feature-length films on budgets of like $5,000 to $12,000 roughly. Wow. And he's got 5 or 6 different movies on Amazon Prime that you can check out. And I don't know, it always amazes me to see, like I said, it amazes me to see what they can come up with the budget constraints that they have. It amazes me to see some of the things that they like. He has one movie, which one is it? I think it's Angel's Reckoning. It might be Fist of the Vampire, but it's like, it was
Jesus
like
Christ.
it was like he just discovered what Dutch angles were, and so almost every shot in the movie is a Dutch angle. And there's like these little things in all of his movies that are that way. Like,
is this the guy that destroys laptops like nobody's business?
No, that's Neil Breen.
Okay.
Neil Breen is an independent architect and lawyer based out of Las Vegas who makes his own movies, and they defy explanation.
Wow.
They're
is the midlife crisis guy.
No, it's his
whole life.
And he's very passionate and adamant about like his movies Like because he is the soul, he writes, edits, and this is something that I'm a really big fan of. Anytime that I can find a movie that is written by, produced by, directed by, and starring, and anything that is like a full-blown obvious vanity project for someone, I love that shit. And that's what Neil Breen's movies are, to like cranked up to 11. It's just all about him spouting his rhetoric. In every one of his, I think, 5 movies that he's done, he is either in one of the movies, he is literally like a physical embodiment of God. But in all of his movies, he is like some form of equivalent of that. Like he's got a full-blown God complex, and he just has the money from architecture and lawyering and stuff to make these movies by himself. And so he does it. And it's beautiful.
Awesome. That's
and
awesome.
they're really, really stupid. But
they're just
it's
dumb.
fun. But no, and like
Len
Kabaczynski, he has the movie with the Dutch angles, and then a little bit later on, it was the first time that he ever experimented with using like green screen ammunition and squibs and stuff. Instead of firing blanks and having actual squibs, it all becomes CGI. And so it's just like, it's like a kid finding a toy that they've never used before. And it's just like, I'm going to cram this fucking thing in there I possibly can.
For no reason.
It's great. It's totally unnecessary. And if you sit down and you have a few drinks and you're into those kind of things, you will laugh until you cry.
Oh, man.
But I also have been around enough people who look at me like I've got a second head coming off of my shoulders when I talk about these things. It's like, yeah, maybe it's not for you. That's cool.
So Ron, when I was in high school, I made it was inspired by Tarantino type stuff, because it had the characters were hitmen, but we played multiple characters because there were 4, but there was me and 3 brothers. So I have something for 3 brothers.
Almost like this podcast.
Yeah.
And they were all, but they were all about a year apart. Anyway, so they had a a family video camera. So as soon as I found that out, I was like, I latched on. Mm-hmm. And so the way we edited and the way we created scenes, because we didn't have any way to edit at the time. Like I know, like when I came to college, like kids were going through school, like kids were going into high school with the ability to be able to edit on a computer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have that.
No.
In high school, we had the opportunity to go to like a TV studio and edit a thing that we did with a person that had made an independent movie that came to our school and worked with us for several weeks. So we had that too, that I actually wrote part of the story.
I want to see this shit.
That one was, so the first one the title of it was called No Point. The second one was called, the one that we did in high school was called Not Just Another Day, which had a bunch of murder happening in a school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Basically the premise was all the teachers disappeared, like any adult disappeared.
Uh-huh.
And so the kids were just like, all the students were running the school. And the character I played like took over the principal's office.
I would have been super bad if that happened. I just wouldn't have gone to school. There were no adults. I just wouldn't
the
have been
character
there.
I played took over the principal's office and murdered everybody.
So I was in that movie too.
There's
The concept.
on that, the subject of the vanity project.
That one was edited. The one that we did, the one that I kind of like orchestrated with my friends in school, we would film scenes and do cut shots. Like we do all the cuts live
In camera. Yeah.
in camera.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if we fuck it up, we do it over, and we go back and we do it over and we do it over. At one point, I went through and like cleaned it all up and made all the cuts cleaner. When I was able to transfer it to digitally, but like there was a point where we did this music video, because most of it ended up being like music montages where we would do. And there's one point where I'm singing the song "Everybody Hurts," and I've got that brown tree moss that you pull off the trees as acting as a goatee for me.
Damn, dude, that's awesome.
And
that's awesome.
And I'm wearing flannel, and
I love
singing
this.
Everybody
Everybody Hurts. But every time we'd switch
Everybody
angles, we'd simultaneously hit pause on the camera
Oh, I love
and
this.
pause on the boombox
Yep.
that we were holding up to the camera.
Oh,
So there's one point where it's like,
Dude.
everybody hurts because it's
this
the
is
you're pausing
I
a
wanna
cassette
see
tape.
this.
I'll
I wanna see
now
this.
that
This
I
is
know that
beautiful.
there's some human interest
There's a market for it.
involved.
Yeah.
I'll get to work on getting it into a digital
The
format
market
again.
for that is half
So-
of this couch.
There's a movie. There's this company called Vinegar Syndrome, and they buy old prints of movies that kind of fall into the category similarly of what I'm talking about. And they just bought and restored to Blu-ray quality a print of this movie that is one of my favorites. It's called Get Even. It's also known as Road to Revenge because they had to allegedly
Get even.
it's not Get Even, it's Get Even, because when John DeHart, the guy who again wrote, directed, starred in, produced, edited, and the fun kicker
Couldn't hit the space bar.
did the music for. There are like 3 or 4
John
John
Carpenter.
DeHart originals in the If you ever want to laugh really hard, Bruno, do yourself a favor and just YouTube search Get Even Shimmy Slide.
Get a shimmy slide.
It's the song that John DeHart does in the movie, and he's singing in a Western bar, and he looks like he's at gunpoint. Like he looks so uncomfortable being on the stage, even though he's the star of the movie. It's fucking great. But anyway, so allegedly the story is that when he made Get Even and he was making the VHS prints for the movie, when they did the credits, he messed it up and, as you said, didn't hit the space bar. So Get Even became Get Even. And
Wow.
so the initial run of the VHS tapes were fucked up and all called Get Even. So then they recut that part and wound up changing the name to Road to Revenge. But yeah, Vinegar Syndrome has a new Blu-ray out of it, and there's like a full commentary track from him. There's like behind the scenes interviews and stuff from him and the people who were in the movie. If you know who Wings Hauser is, he was an actor from many shit. I think he was on a
do you watch Trauma stuff? Do you like Trauma?
some of their stuff, yeah.
When I dip into that, the trauma stuff is where I go.
What is
I love the Toxic Avenger.
Toxic
Class
Avenger
of
is
Nukem
good.
High.
I've never watched any Trauma.
Really?
I just know
what is
of
it, like-
them.
So, yeah, do yourself a favor and watch the original Toxic Avenger. It's fucking stupid fun.
That's like their biggest.
They're
their biggest
remaking
thing,
it.
right?
Yeah.
It's
They're,
cooled down to 111 degrees.
They're
right
they're
now.
rebooting it, and
Wow.
Peter Dinklage is going to be the Toxic Avenger.
Oh,
Yeah,
Peter
Interesting.
Dinks.
Peter Dinklage is going to be the Toxic Avenger.
fellow
I'll see that
Jerseyan right there.
goddamn theater. I will pay ticket prices for that one.
The fellow
seen-
Jerseyan.
Have I showed you the trailers that my son and I made with this iPad? Remind me to after the show. They're pretty cool. We just
Toxic Avenger. It's
Yeah.
on my list now.
that one. It's so weird and so off the wall.
There
And
is.
They ended up making a kids cartoon out of it called The Toxic Crusader, and it was right around the time of Ninja Turtles. And so, look up The Toxic Crusader. There were action figures.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just wild.
sorority babes at the Slime Ball Bolorama. That's the Trauma movie for you.
That's the big one.
That's yeah.
I think I've seen that one.
So Linnea Quigley, the gal that was in that, or one of the gals that was in that documentary I was talking about. Have you ever seen Return of the Living Dead?
No.
That's like that old zombie movie.
It
right?
has some really, really, really amazing practical effects, but there's a redheaded punk chick. There's all these punk people that are hanging out at a graveyard when the zombies come back.
It's where punks hang out.
And anyway, Linnea Quigley is very famously naked in that, like giving this big, lengthy monologue about how she wants to die and the amount of sex that she wants to have before she dies. And it's a fun ass movie, man. Like the practical effects are ridiculously good. especially considering the budget. Like, they're not just good for the budget, they're actually really good. And there's really genuinely funny parts in it. Like the zombies think, but they aren't like fully human brain capable. And there's like toxic waste spill, and the paramedics come to try and salvage the situation, and the paramedics get eaten by the zombies, and one of the zombies gets on the CB from the ambulance and they're like, is everything okay? Do you need assistance? And the zombie's like, send more paramedics. Like shit like that. Like it's really stupid, but it's, again, if you get it and you like it, you'll love it. If it's not for you, you really won't like it.
Her character's name in Return of the Living Dead is Trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is the biggest name ever.
That movie also has what I call Great Value brand Arsenio Hall, the guy who played Juana Man.
No shit.
Yeah.
He's in that. He was in like Leprechaun 4. He is in tons and tons and tons of just absolute garbage B movies. It's great.
The first Leprechaun was fun.
Yeah, it was.
You guys know Night of the Living Dead, right?
Yeah.
Miguel Jr.
Night of the Living Dead is in the public domain.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Because he forgot to put the copyright information.
So you know about it, right?
Yeah.
He forgot to put the little C
in
it. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
And so people will just, I think some random dude from like Ohio or something was the first to release it on DVD because it was in the public domain and there was a market for it.
Yep.
And he's like, well, fuck, I'll just do this. And I think they corrected it at some point because it was Romero, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think he ended up correcting it at some point. Like
a lot of people play it in like the background of their movies. Like whenever you see a TV, they'll put that movie on because it was in
wasn't it in Halloween? Wasn't
Probably.
that the movie, one of the movies that they were watching with Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, if I remember right?
Yeah. Now she peddles fucking yogurt.
Activia.
Yeah. Yogurt to
as well as making new Halloween movies.
Yogurt to shit.
As well as making new Halloween movies.
There's a new Halloween movie coming out in October.
Really?
You were talking
Halloween Kills.
You reminded me back to my homemade movies. Practical effects. Reminds me of one of the shots we had where this guy comes behind the two side characters played by the same people that play the main characters throughout the movie get offed about midway through. Also, this movie never got finished. We got about 30 minutes into it. Like we got about 30 minutes total.
Yeah.
Because we're editing, we're basically cutting as we go.
Yeah.
So 30 minutes is still
quite a bit of footage, really.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a point where we get offed, and that's done. The practical effect for that is done with a spray painted squirt gun and 2 firecrackers in a coffee can.
Yeah. Dude, see, I want to see this.
Great Foley work.
I really want to see it. I really, really genuinely want to see this.
Multiple attempts.
Not because I want to laugh at you.
No,
bear that in mind. I don't want to watch this so I can be like, oh, what a dumbass.
There might be a night where we don't actually podcast and we just come and watch.
Like I said,
my bullshit.
I don't know why it interests me so much, but it has for a very long time, and it's a really, really big passion of mine. Is I love, and what's great is I went from those, because in the 80s and late 70s going into the 80s and stuff, when VHS first hit, that was when you saw the deluge of like actual B movies where it was like, this is a garbage movie, but we still spent $180,000 on it. And now with the ready availability of cameras and anybody can fucking pirate a copy of Adobe Premiere Pro if they're so inclined, like there's all sorts of things that a person can do where you can see these movies that are literally made of like, oh, I made an 84-minute movie and I only spent $4,000 on it. Like, I want to see that. I want to see how you stretched $4,000 into 84 minutes of movie.
Dude,
because I'll bet most of it is you walking around in the woods or you walking around in the desert or anywhere that is free to film.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's what, and
Pretty much.
It's amazing how many, when you watch a lot of those movies, how many of those similarities that you see of like this movie's supposed to be like a post-apocalyptic thing. So we spend $3,000 of our $5,000 budget on like a 3-minute CGI sequence at the beginning where their ship crashes on a forest planet. And then the rest of the movie is just filmed in some
Walking
forest
around a
outside
forest.
Los Angeles. Like, it's insane how many of them there are that are exactly like that.
Well, yeah.
And the scripts are as generic as they possibly can be. And but I love it.
So my buddy, his latest comic book was published by TKO, and it's called Killiamsburg, and it's about killer snowmen in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Fucking A, right.
Outstanding.
I am okay with that.
That's right up your alley.
Yep.
It sounds like it's up your alley.
I'm Googling it now.
Yeah.
Ron just made his new best friend, and he doesn't even know him yet.
Like I said, this is the kind of shit I live for, man.
Is revisit a lot of these things I have fond memories of. Like, I'll never watch Toxic Avenger again because I liked it when I was 12.
Yeah.
There's no
if you watch it now, it's gonna ruin it.
Right. Like, I went back and watched some He-Man on Netflix when it was on there, and it's fucking terrible.
Yeah,
like,
some shit really doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited about this Kevin Smith one though.
What Kevin Smith?
I like the Kevin Smith's got a He-Man
Yeah.
series coming out on
A
To
Netflix show.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
the
Masters of the
trailer
Universe.
for it is
Oh,
at
yeah.
least epic.
the trailer's
Okay.
amazing.
The I Need a Hero
I
being
hear
put
they're-
in there.
I hear they're kind of mismarketing it though, because
TKO
it's supposed to be
Studios.
about it's a Tila story.
More about the women.
Yeah,
Oh.
and I'm okay with that but you should have just called it Tila and done a Tila story instead
Right,
of being
and-
like, this is He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's going to be great.
Help me.
And then they put out that I need a hero
do that. Yeah.
shit. And
Perfect trailer music.
ASMR.
yeah, it was-
ASMR.
ASMR. Perfect trailer
but
music.
the whole trailer is He-Man.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a Tila show. So they're trying to get people, and I get that it builds controversy and you're going to get angry nerds and stuff. But man, old He-Man was
mismarketing.
shit. Like absolute shit. You go back and Skeletor's the only thing that's entertaining. And even he's like, why did you do that, dude? You're like a comic relief villain. This is fucking terrible.
So TKO Studios presents Killiamsburg by Eric C. Freitas?
Freitas.
Freitas?
Yeah, Freitas. Whatever.
Freitas. Eric Freitas.
Fritos.
Fritos. Corn chips. The snowstorm of a
I'm
century.
sure he'd like that. I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
Oh, he gets that plenty of
Shout
times.
out to Killiamsburg here. I am buying the shit out of this, by the way. The snowstorm of a century is barreling down on Brooklyn, but that doesn't stop a group of hipsters from throwing an ironic 90s themed party. This snow is different, though. It speaks, it moves, it craves human flesh. Can our flannel wearing, craft beer drinking group unironically survive the night? Fuck yeah, dude, this is great.
And he
I'm
pitched
buying
that to me
the
as
shit out
a
of that.
he pitched that to me as a script as well.
Oh man.
And I was just like, I don't know,
Storyboards are
man.
done, man.
I'm not-
Storyboards are
The
done.
storyboards
Can you
are
imagine
definitely done.
Shudder would
Can you
probably
imagine a
snatch that up
snowball
in
fight?
a minute, man.
A snowball fight.
Dude.
Beating the shit out of kids.
Shudder is constantly looking for content for their streaming network. They would probably snatch that shit up in a minute.
Probably.
Like really honestly.
And he's got a bunch of stuff similar to that. A lot of things like
yeah,
that.
no, I'm excited.
I don't want to give out anything he hasn't released yet. But he's got some other comics. He's got a comic series called Amazing Forest. And it's a book of like, I don't know, maybe like 15 or 20 short stories. And each story is like 4 pages long. And there are some wild ones, some weird shit.
Nice.
You think you could
Weird
make half-hour episodes out of that? You could do a.
We've talked about it. We've talked about it.
Huh.
Making like clip, you make like a 5 to 10 minute short out of each one.
Yeah. Like that,
And with
what
commercials,
is
you'd
that?
only have to pull it out to 21
Love,
minutes.
Death, and Robots, that thing on Netflix. Those
How'd
are
that
all.
turn out? I put that on my watch list and I never watched it.
I still haven't watched season 2. Season 1 was in terms of quality all over the place, but what was good was good.
Was it?
Yeah. But yeah, you could totally do something like that because that's kind of how that show is, where each episode is like some of them are literally 3 minutes long and others are, upwards of 20 minutes. Just
Wow.
depends on however long you need to tell the story. But they're all just little vignettes that don't have much of anything to do with each other. They're all
Yeah.
themed around the idea of what is it? Love, Death, and Robots, or Sex, Death, and Robots, or something like that. But
I think it's Love, Death, and
it
Robots.
shares similarities with Black Mirror, kind of the technology gone awry and
Right.
that sort of thing. But it's interesting.
I'll pitch you one off air afterwards.
Right.
Okay.
We got close to moving forward with.
Like I said, I already that premise right there, you could make a really tight 90-minute slasher flick very easily.
Like
with
Jack Frost.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, was like Jack Frost.
Like Jack Frost meets Line of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, yeah. More like I would,
But it
with them being that style of crowd and that age group and what you're going for, I would think more of like Jack Frost meets Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Where you'd want it to be a little funny, you'd want it to be a little
Shaun of the Dead is the best.
Oh man,
yeah,
I've seen that
it's
movie
best
so many
zombie
times.
one of the
ever.
best zombie movies I've ever seen.
And Hot Fuzz is one of the best buddy comedies ever. Buddy cop
Yeah.
movies ever. It's so fucking
Edgar
good.
Wright's really talented.
I finally watched Baby Driver in 2 pieces because I watched it
What's it on?
while it was in flight.
Oh.
I watched it in flight,
Oh.
and then but I couldn't finish it on the way there, so I had to finish it on the way back. So I waited like 5 days to finish watching like the last 20 minutes
Interesting.
of Baby Driver.
Interesting.
How does that fucking feel? Like,
It-
does it?
it
does
was a
ruin
little
the
bit
experience
annoying,
A little bit,
But I zapped it back a little bit. I
Mhm.
took it back a little bit,
of
but
course.
and that helped.
But
But
it seems like it would kind of.
but I'm still in an airplane though,
Like
right?
Yeah.
So I'm in an
draw out
airplane
the
in both
suspense
cases.
too
So I'm
much.
still sitting in basically the same spot,
Mhm.
right? So I'm still in like my atmosphere hasn't changed. So I'm experiencing it from an airplane.
Uh-huh.
I would like to watch it again on my TV in my living room, my 86-inch TV. I have an 86-inch TV, guys.
Yeah, I know.
I like
Pretty
to flex
badass.
that every once in a while.
Fun.
No, but it was really good. I enjoyed it. I know that you said it wasn't your favorite,
I
but,
haven't seen it yet,
but I liked a lot of like especially that opening credit sequence where they're
Yeah.
playing with the music, the dialogue and stuff, or
Yeah.
the dialogue and the music and stuff.
My big issue with that movie is I genuinely am not a big fan of that guy that is the lead.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't do anything. Like, I mean,
He's-
I wasn't rooting for
Just
him,
kind of a wet blanket.
but the other people in Alden.
Wet blanket. That's hilarious.
Yeah, he kind of is.
What has
I
he
don't
done
even
other than
I
that?
don't even recognize him.
Yeah, no, you have.
He was.
He hasn't done much.
I think he was one of those guys. They were like, "Here's this guy.
It's-
We're going to put
As I
this. He's a Josh Hutcherson type.
I
That we're
don't-
going to put in and hope that he takes off." Or
Ansel Elgort
I guess
answered
it's-
Elgort. Yeah.
denies accusation of sexually assaulting underage girls.
Oh man,
All right, great.
that
Look
es-
at that.
that escalated quickly.
Oh, talking about that, Kevin Spacey is
Yeah.
is
coming
in
back.
the movie. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Is he coming back?
He's coming back. He's.
Holy shit!
I
What?
just read it today. He's coming back. Let me see
Oh.
if I can pull up.
Yeah.
Really?
Bruno,
Yeah.
read the article.
No, I
Kevin Spacey attempts comeback. Kevin Spacey is ready
Attempt.
for a comeback, but is Hollywood ready?
I wonder how many backs
Lands his first role in 4 years.
in what?
That's what I was going to try to
Or
find
does
out
it
right
say?
He's got a
Oh,
Lionsgate
Was
contract.
this the one in that French movie? Is he? I think it was.
Oh,
a
so
French
it's like
movie.
a Roman Polanski type.
Oh, yeah. L'uomo c'è no Dio, the man who drew God. I think that might
Oh,
actually
okay.
be Italian.
Le Mose des Nuts.
God damn it.
I don't do those very often, but that one seemed to require it
That works.
because it was a Kevin Spacey thing.
Yeah,
He's a creepy motherfucker too.
he is slightly creepy.
Have you seen that picture of him?
He's-
And,
He's good though. You can't deny he's a good
It's
actor.
the
He's
drama.
such a
good
The
actor.
drama is a pedophilia drama.
oh,
Of course it is, because that's also Roman Polanski.
yeah,
Hey man, you got to write what you know.
yeah,
Um,
man.
man.
No, Kevin Spacey is a tricky. Like there aren't a whole lot of other people that are more separate the art from the artist. Because that video that he made after he'd been outed and was like ostracized and everything, where he was like kind of in character as Frank Underwood, but wasn't.
Yeah.
That video he made was so weird.
Especially since the guy died the next day.
Like so weird. Well, yeah, that too. But like,
he's there's a picture of him sitting on England's throne with Ghislaine Maxwell. Like, not some fake throne, like the actual throne that the Queen sits on that nobody else is supposed to fucking sit on. He and Maxwell are just hanging out giggling on the throne. So he was in that whole fucking crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know. Fucking crazy.
Isn't it funny how all that kind of just
went away?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What?
Everybody was
We're gonna make a couple documentaries about it, but then we're
no. They unsealed some more court documents last week.
Everything you saw on
about
Facebook and Twitter and shit was
training
all
little girls
about,
but nothing about anybody
stopping
else.
sex trafficking. We got to save
they
the
didn't
kids.
name
They're not unearthing anybody.
They didn't name any names of customers.
They're not getting Tom Hanks,
but
and his glove fetish.
Yeah, she was raping little girls before she was peddling them to other people. Like. Fuck! I hope they crucify her in Times Square.
I don't know.
Just
That's
right
pretty. That's pretty.
front.
What's the word for it?
Public.
No, I was thinking like entrepreneurial.
Oh,
right?
No. No.
That is not the word.
No,
not at all.
If you want a good example of entrepreneurial, go watch Dolomite Is My Name. That's the most American movie ever made. That dude is amazing.
But do you think that
Eddie
she
Murphy
saw
killed
herself as an entrepreneur?
No.
Like, I am peddling all these 6-year-olds for sex.
I think they were
I'm
10.
doing a really good job at it.
You ever watch any of those, Bruno? Any of the old 70s blaxploitation movies that Rudy Ray Moore made?
No.
Oh, it's an interesting little window into like
one man
Black America.
That Dolomite, he was a real guy though, wasn't
not
he?
just
Rudy Ray.
No,
what was it?
Rudy Ray Moore was a real guy, but no, not.
I think I've seen Dolomite, but that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and the one where Eddie Murphy plays him, and they're doing the behind the scenes stuff. What a great movie!
The Netflix show Dolomite Is My Name it's fantastic.
And that's biographical. Right?
Yeah, it is.
And I think it's one of Netflix's
There's
best
so many
things they've put out. It's
so
on
many
par with
beautiful
Stranger
quotable parts from
Black Mirror.
those movies. I say, which sounds kind of racist, but those 70s blaxploitation movies, especially Rudy Ray Moore stuff, because he wanted to be a comedian. He didn't. A lot of the movie is really accurate. The only reason he got into movies was because he was like, well, I'm good at comedy. I can do whatever. I'm going to make movies now. And they're like, no, Rudy, you're not. He's like, yeah, I am. And he just fucking did it. He was this fat, out of shape, like late 30s, early 40s old dude who was like, I'm going to do kung fu in my movies.
I'm going to pretend I know kung fu.
And they're like, no, Rudy, you don't know kung fu. He's like, no, I kick him like this. And just did it. And that was, but oh man, what has he had? And there's so many beautiful, quotable.
Yeah.
He plays the MC. I think it's in Petey Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law. He plays an MC at a comedy club, and he tells a man at one point in the movie that if he doesn't stop heckling, he's going to reach over and grab the woman's titty and sit next to him and beat him over the head with it. It's fucking great.
No, Rudy, you can't do that.
It's amazing.
Yes, I can.
It's amazing.
It's the most American movie ever made.
Did you watch The Disaster Artist? The one about the room?
It's on my list, man.
So
that one and the actual real movie.
Bruno and I have so many lists. Like shit we're never going to watch, but it's there.
Well, no.
I intend to.
I really do intend to. It's just time is not.
The room is something else. And
I don't know. Oh, man. How am I going to focus this now?
I just see white.
Yeah.
There we go.
There it is.
Like,
that's your list.
You have a real list.
Oh, you have an actual list.
I have an actual real list.
Oh man, mine's just in my head. Damn.
Oh, mine are just in watch lists on various.
Look how long this is. This is a long one.
Damn.
Did you get the Stallone?
Awesome.
Did you get the Frank Stallone documentary on there?
With Frank Stallone? I don't think so. Which one was that?
He mentioned it a couple.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
it
were
was
talking
that
about it
last
not too long
episode. It hasn't published an audio form yet though. So
Oh,
there's
yeah.
that.
Mm,
There's a
Okay.
Frank
I
Stallone
will-
documentary.
I will
out there.
say that you definitely should watch The Room before you watch The Disaster Artist.
yeah, that's what everyone said.
For
It's not-
context, I would think
it's-
you'd have to watch in
It's
order.
not required, but you'll appreciate the effort that they put into The Disaster Artist to recreating some of the.
So I've jumped around on
Uh-huh.
The Room. I haven't watched the full.
So you're familiar with
I am
Tear
familiar
me
with
apart,
clips.
Lisa, and all of that shit. Yeah, okay, yeah. So you
I
at
know
least
enough
a little
about
bit
it.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't watched The Disaster Artist yet.
Dolomite is My Name is like a more well done version of that. They have a lot of similarities of like they follow this person who has no business making a movie actually making a
I
movie.
definitely didn't watch that then.
But Dolomite is My Name is definitely more well done.
Well, it's got a Hollywood touch to it. The Disaster Artist was meant to look almost as raw as the content that the guy was creating.
Yeah, I can see that. And
Yeah.
they didn't.
They didn't have Eddie Murphy.
They didn't.
That's true.
They did it more of they were so interested in doing it as like a character study of how weird Tommy Wiseau is
Right.
that they didn't put as much emphasis on how fucked the production of the movie was. Like the guy, they don't even have this in the movie, and this is spoilers, not spoilers. Greg Sestero, the guy who wound up playing Mark in the movie of Oh Hi Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah. The guy, Greg Sestero, the guy who plays Mark, was the line director or something on the movie? Like he wasn't even supposed to be in the movie. And they filmed scenes with fake Mark for, I believe, like 2 weeks. And they would film all of their scenes for the day. And then fake Mark would leave and they'd bring Greg Sestero on and they would reshoot all the scenes because Tommy Wiseau didn't want to be an asshole and fire the guy.
Wow.
So instead of firing the dude, he made all of these people work double time and film all these scenes twice.
That's so.
Yeah, like it's
Wow.
just they don't even scratch the surface on that kind of stuff in the Disaster Artist in terms of, like I said, just how bonkers the making of the movie was.
Just the production.
They had a building that they could have filmed on the top of in downtown LA that Tommy Wiseau owned. And instead of filming on top of the building that he owned, they built a fake roof set in a parking lot and green screened in the cityscape. Yeah, it's like there's just so much shit that is baffling. Yeah,
Why
I don't
did you do
even
that?
They don't rent the cameras, they buy them. Like to film their movie. They didn't rent the cameras. He went and bought all of the cameras that he used to film the movie.
I've done that.
And
But he's got like a stupid amount of money.
he
doesn't
has an
he?
insane.
Yeah, he does.
Kind of Eastern
He's-
European royalty or something. Nobody really knows where he's from.
He's
He's
from.
got a lot of real estate money.
Yeah, he's from Europe and he's got a shitload of real estate money. He has a clothing line as well that he does not do well in America, but does very well in Europe.
Is it easy to tear apart? Lisa?
What do you know the name of the brand?
I believe it's his name.
Oh
Just
wow.
Wiseau?
I wouldn't be
Wiseau.
surprised. I believe it's just Wiseau clothing.
Wild.
But yeah, a lot of underwear. Oddly enough, like a lot of male underwear is what is in the clothing line.
Have I told you guys before about Don's Plum, the movie?
No.
I don't think so.
So Don's Plum is a movie from a long time ago, and it's with Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, Kevin, the guy from Eric from Entourage, and it was before they were who they are now. What?
Kevin Dillon?
Yeah, no. Kevin
Connolly.
Connolly, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And it was before who they are now. So they're young. They're probably in their late teens, very early 20s.
2001.
No.
Oh, well, that was probably when it hit when it was actually.
Yeah, release or something. So
right.
there's a whole story behind this. They were friends. They got together. They shot this. And then when it came time to release it, this is
Film
when
between 95 and 96.
Yep. This is when Leo was starting to get his break, and then Leo
Wait,
wouldn't
Oh,
let them release the movie.
Is this the one that he blocked the release of?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I've heard of this, but I didn't know the name of it. I haven't heard much about it.
It's called Don's Plum.
He's
I
like,
watched most
listen,
of
you
it.
fuck nuts.
So
I could blow up right here.
I've heard that it was a little bit part to do with Tobey Maguire being a little rat, and I guess he's the one that didn't want to release it, and he went behind, and like, I guess him and Leo were very good friends, and put a bug in Leo's ear so that he wouldn't let the movie get released.
Huh.
It's viewable online though.
Look at what's the date for the by the way, just for comparison purposes, there's a movie that Tobey Maguire was in and called Joyride. What's the release date on that?
Joyride. Let's see.
Yeah, it says
97. Release date is 97 for Joyride.
according to this, it says that it was Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire were essentially hired under false pretenses, led to believe that it was supposed to be a short film. And when the producer and writer Dale Wheatley presented the film as a full-length feature, capitalizing on the footage of DiCaprio and Maguire, they sued to block distribution.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So in the chat, I sent the link to the
Okay.
to watch the full film.
Is it on like YouTube or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
how long is it? Like just a regular feature length?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. Hour and change.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's
Okay.
black and white.
Yeah, I was going to say the pictures that it's pulling up are all in black and white. So
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Is that the Don's Plum?
Yep.
No, I had heard, like I said, I was familiar with
Is it available?
something like that. No, you missed.
Oh,
He shared
I
the link.
apologize.
He shared the
Oh,
link in
nice.
the chat so we can watch it via the YouTubes.
Ooh.
Speaking of, it is shortly after 8, and I'm going to have to be wrapping up here shortly.
So let's get to
So,
Bruno's latest
Yeah,
projects.
I want to hear about this before we go, though.
Yeah, man. So over the winter break, I was on Only Murders in the Building, which is a new show for Disney Hulu with Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez, Tina Fey. Sting makes an appearance in it.
shit.
Yeah. And it's a mystery comedy. It's actually pretty funny. I've read the scripts. Episode, I think 5 or 6 was probably, in my opinion, the funniest one.
Is that something you have access to with your position, or did you just kind of luck out in that case? Like the scripts?
No, yeah, we need it in my department because we're scouting.
Because you
and
need to
you
know,
need to know what we're scouting for.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's neat.
So I read the whole series. I know the story. But
Where did you end up filming, if you can say.
yeah, we've all throughout New York City, which was weird during a pandemic and very hellish, having to deal with all the protocols and all that fun stuff.
At least you didn't have Tom Cruise screaming at you.
Exactly.
Well, we talked a little
Definitely
bit about this one the last times we had Bruno on too. Yeah.
We did.
I was totally
Yeah.
on his side too, just
That's interesting.
because
So,
he got insurance. And
Is
shit.
when
Yeah.
I don't know that I've seen a trailer for it. Like you obviously you have
Yeah, trailers out.
working on it. Oh, is it? Okay. I'll have
Yeah.
to check it out.
Are you friends with Bruno on Facebook?
One thing about Hulu,
No, I didn't know you were on Facebook.
Hulu
I
is
am.
bullshit about their trailers. Like you see one. I've been watching The Shield again on Hulu since I got access to it, and it's like I get one thing. It's this Pierce Brosnan baby making show.
That movie was something else.
Was it?
Oh, it was
And
weird
that's
as
the
fuck.
only fucking trailer I get.
False positive.
And
Yeah, that was something else.
and it's like all the time. And I'm like, okay, I could see this, but now I don't want to because it's been pushed on me too hard.
No,
Right.
So
that was That was one of those movies that really towed the line of I wanted my time back. It was weird. Like at one point, like I'll go full spoilers because nobody's gonna fucking watch this movie. Justin Theroux and his wife can't get pregnant. Justin Theroux used to work with Pierce Brosnan, and they're
God
both
doesn't
like
make babies.
doctors,
I make them.
geneticists type people.
I don't know. I'm gonna watch it
And-
because I like Justin Theroux.
Pierce Brosnan's
And
got this
Pierce
like
Brosnan.
I'm a huge
God
Pierce
complex
Brosnan
that he's
fan.
trying to
Also, God complexes.
clone himself essentially into these pregnant women who can't, or these women who can't get pregnant.
He's just cloning
He's
himself
just cloning
into them.
himself into them. And well, it turns out that like Justin Theroux was in on it and helped get his wife a clone baby inside of her, and she's got triplets in her, and there's 2 boys and 1 girl, and they want the boys because they're clones of Pierce Brosnan, and she wants the girl because she was always imagined herself having a girl. And the movie ends with her having a fantasy sequence of throwing the infant children out the window.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
man.
I was like, okay, like
Written and directed by Tommy Wiseau.
It's done in the, like she's holding them, and the music is really somber, and she's like bleeding from when she beats Pierce
Is
Brosnan
this a
to
Hulu
death.
show?
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Wow.
It's a Hulu original movie, and so she's back in their apartment or house or thing that they live in, and she's got the 2 little boys in her arms, and she walks over to the window at the balcony, and the music's all somber, and she like holds them out like this, and they like start to float off away from her, like symbolically she's releasing them or whatever, and whatnot. But I'm like, is she throwing the kids out the fucking window? And this is just like, they didn't want to show her doing that, so they made it artsy and stuff. And then, of course, the twist is that she wasn't actually doing that, and she just shoves the kids into Justin Theroux's hand and is like, you take them, I'm leaving, blah, blah, blah. And she takes her aborted fetus of her daughter and like starts breastfeeding it.
What
And
the?
it like wakes up and like starts latching on her, but you don't know if that's actually happened or if she's
That's
just
Pierce Brosnan
crazy.
from
Or if she's just a
it-
woman.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
It's bonkers. It's a really fucking bonkers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was something else.
I have to check it out now.
But no, on
Nope.
the subject of
Hard
that,
pass.
it was how I found Censor, that movie that I was talking about. The only reason that I even stumbled across Censor was because somebody that I follow on YouTube mentioned it.
Mhm.
Movie previews, I loaded up, I don't know how many YouTube videos in the past 3 or 4 days. The only fucking movie preview that I get, Snake Eyes. I don't know.
Oh
if
yeah.
who's gotten that, but they've been shoving Snake Eyes down my throat. Like the way that, because
The old Nicolas Cage movie?
no, the new one,
No, it's
G.I.
the,
Joe Origins.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Which looks completely uninteresting.
I don't know if I'll
bland.
Bother with
The
that
only
until it shows up
thing that
somewhere.
movie's got going for it is they cast that Samara Weaving, the gal from the Babysitter movie on
Hugo's
Netflix.
daughter.
They cast her as Scarlet,
Oh.
and that's decent casting, and I like her. She was really great in The Babysitter, and she was really great in Ready or Not. But ever since home video went away, we don't get access to trailers as
Yeah.
directly as we used to.
Yeah.
Like now, the only way that you see movie trailers
It's accidental.
is if you go
Yeah.
to the theater or if you subscribe to a movie trailer YouTube channel. Your average person, we don't get.
Instagram in the ads.
No, that's
Yeah.
If you're
usually
on
I'll
Instagram
sit.
ads.
But even the Instagram
Some
ones,
nights
those
and
are
just watch
big
trailers.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got
To
Fast
find,
9 or the new Minions movie or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, they've got Instagram accounts. Something small like Censor, or there's another one on Hulu that's
Oh,
really,
I see what
really
you're saying.
great called The Vast of Night. That's takes place in the 50s with this switchboard operator girl who starts picking up alien broadcast signals. through
Oh,
her
yeah,
switchboard.
yeah. I've seen that.
It's a fucking great movie. Never ever would have heard of it if it wasn't for following some of the circles that I follow on YouTube and stuff, because those kind of movies, you don't see previews for that kind of shit anymore.
Yeah.
Ever.
Because you can't keep up with paying for Facebook
Yeah.
advertisements.
Yeah.
It ends up just eating your budget up.
So,
put it
Only
up.
Murders in the Building, though. If you're into Steve Martin type of comedy, you'll
Yeah.
like it. It's
Yeah.
good.
Well, and
Well, and you said Martin Short's in it too?
Yeah, Martin Short.
Yeah.
they make a good pair
They do.
usually. And you
Lucky Day
also
and Ned Niederlander.
What?
Quiet Place 2.
Oh, yeah. Quiet Place 2 was. I just saw it in theaters this weekend. It turned out great. I liked it. I enjoyed it very much. I was
So
only
because you
on
read
an-
the scripts,
My son
how do
went and saw it.
they
He spoke
how do they
highly of it.
parallel to what? How does what comes out parallel to what you read?
Well, you envision it differently in your head, so it's
Right.
it's fun to see how it comes out with the director's vision. I actually didn't read A Quiet Place 2, but I did know what the story was about, more or less. I knew it was a prequel sequel, and I didn't work on the whole film for the second one. I only worked on it for like 2-3 weeks because they shot most of it up in Buffalo, New York, and I didn't want to go up there. So when they came down, when they came down to Poughkeepsie, New York, I was like, all right, I'll do that, which was back at the farm from the first one. So I did that portion, and then I was speaking to other crew members and my team, and they would tell me about other locations and days and what they shot and stories of things that was going on. So then I got a gist for what the story was all about, and it was good. I enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend it.
The first one was solid.
The first one was really solid.
Yeah, like I said, Matthew went and saw it on I think it was 2 weeks ago. Went and saw it, and he spoke very highly of it.
The first one or the second one?
The second one.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. And then I also today they released the Sopranos trailer, Many Saints of Newark, which that was a rough one, man. I busted my ass on that one.
Because that type of show needs a lot of locations.
Well, in time, because it's into different time period too.
Yeah,
it's a period piece, which makes things even more complicated because there's a lot of prep involved. You can't just roll into the location on the day and start filming. You have to be there like a week, sometimes more beforehand, to make sure you change all the signs out. Any, no cars can be on the streets, any signs, like street signs, road signs, light fixtures.
How much does that cut
do you
into
work
the
with the
overall
city
budget?
to get those moved?
Yeah, that's my department. We work with the city. We work with the electricity
all the code
company.
enforcement people and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
we work with PSE&G. So do you guys have PSE&G out west?
What's that stand for?
Powers. They're electric and gas. Yeah, something Pacific.
No. We have our own utility company.
Electric and gas. So they do some here on the East Coast, and we had to deal with them for the street lamps. They had to come in, literally remove 4 or 5 street like the lamps. Like, these things are like what, 15 feet, 20 feet high.
Yeah,
to remove 4 or 5 of them from the street and install these older style ones.
Wow,
man, that's intense.
That's crazy. You would think they'd CGI that or something.
There's one of the scenes in the movie, and I'm not going to be giving out any spoilers here. We had to close down 2 blocks of street in Newark, New Jersey, which was where pretty much most of my time on that film was spent. And it was 2 months of prep because we had to change, I think it was about 50 or 60 storefronts. We had to remove their signs, their awnings, everything, put in all new ones. We had to change out some of the facades and everything of the storefronts.
And is it all temporary?
Yeah, all temporary. So we were there for about 4 days of filming. So two months.
My question was, how long was the filming for?
4 days of filming.
Wow.
2 months of prepping, 4 days of filming, and then about a month and a week of putting everything back together. Yeah, putting everything back together.
Damn,
Jesus.
It was crazy. And that was just for that one scene. You have about 3.5 months worth of work just for the one scene right there.
And how long? Not to be.
That was probably the biggest
like,
scene.
How long would you gauge that scene is in the film?
In the film, it's, I don't know, maybe like 4 minutes.
Jesus Christ, that's insane.
5, maybe
4 months of work for 4 minutes.
That's nuts.
4 or 5 minutes. Yeah, it was the biggest set that we had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. They had me dealing with pretty much everything there. And then after that, they put me in some other locations. We shot out in the beach in Long Island. We had some days in Paterson, New Jersey. Where else? I remember in February. So I worked on that from February to June or July, and I think it was 2019, and it's only coming out now. So
Wow.
A lot of
goes to
posts
show.
in that. Yeah, wow.
a lot of posts.
That's a lot of posts.
There were also reshoots, so they had to do reshoots, and they started doing the reshoots in March of 2020. Then the pandemic hit, so they had to go down, and then they came back in September of 2020 to finish the reshoots, and I came on for the reshoots as well. That was the reshoots was only about like a week and a half of work. We had some scenes, mostly stuff in the city, Brooklyn. Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 Brooklyn locations. And we had some stuff that we filmed up in Westchester for the principal photography as well. A few places in Westchester County, New York.
Wow.
Well, that kid, his kid that plays,
That
the
plays
version of him.
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, man, spitting it like he's almost looks like he was cloned. You catch shots in that trailer of his teeth, and they're
Yeah.
the same teeth and everything.
And he's cool. He's a cool dude. We had a rap party for the principal photography because that was pre-pandemic, and he was at the rap party, and he was hanging out with crew like regular person.
That's
Wow.
cool.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was good. It was a fun time. It was rough, but it was fun and worth it. And I'm excited. I'm dying for it to come out so I can go watch it.
Isn't it coming straight to HBO?
Yeah.
They're doing
Well, it's
side by side release.
yeah. It's both.
Nice.
Yeah.
I may go watch it in theaters though.
Right on.
Dude,
that
I
would
don't
that
blame you.
might be a
I
fun
don't
one
blame
to
you.
go
Glory.
see in theaters. Fuck, and also, if I worked in the industry like you did, anything I worked on, I'd probably go see in theaters.
Oh yeah.
If I had a chance to
Well-
see my name in the credits.
Anything. I don't know about anything. I
Well-
worked on some stuff that I'm just like, meh, whatever.
Yeah.
I worked on some Netflix movies and stuff like that, and I'm just like, yeah. But no, I mean that's a blockbuster. That's a big one, and it'll
Yeah,
definitely
that's
be
huge.
nice to see my name roll up. I hope they give me proper credits. They screwed me on both Quiet Places.
Did they really?
Really?
So the first one they gave me the wrong credit. They put my name but the wrong credit, and then the second one, I wasn't on it for long enough, so they didn't credit.
So
me
they
with
just
that
didn't
part.
even put you on?
Yeah, they didn't put me in the credits.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's
God
all right. It's
damn.
on my IMDb. That's all that
Right
matters.
on.
There you go.
There
It
you
just seems like they
So what? How
named
far
the lady
down?
that makes the sandwiches. They could.
No shit. How far down the credits should we watch? Like when we're watching the Sopranos prequel.
On a movie like Sopranos,
Well, just watch all of them.
maybe like 3 to 4 minutes in, because it's a lot of credits. You're talking about
Okay.
maybe 500 people, 600
So
people. that were involved.
what is the
Locations.
skill type? Locations.
Locations? Yeah, when you start seeing location manager, my name will be maybe like 2 or 3 right after that.
Nice.
Okay.
So I'm excited for that. That's
Gonna be
should a
that's
good
gonna be
movie.
episode artwork at some point.
Congratulations, by the way. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's really
That's all-
really
that-
awesome.
I'm proud of you, Bruno. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. But yeah, no. Other than that, I worked on Wu-Tang season 2
Yeah, you mentioned
recently. That just
2?
wrapped. Got me a nice little
Killer
mask,
Bees? Yeah.
a little Wu-Tang
Dude,
mask.
that's fucking awesome.
That's the fun thing, is getting the set swag. Getting
I
the swag
bet.
from working.
It'll be cool
on
once
these
they're done
crews.
doing masks for swag.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I worked on a Lin-Manuel Miranda movie called Tick Tick Boom.
Oh,
And our wrap gifts were these like travel bags, and I looked up the price. They're like $150 bags.
Nice.
Dang.
wow, really?
They gave one to every crew member though. $150 bags. It's
Man.
crazy.
Tax write-offs.
So
Pretty
what
much.
network?
That's
What
the
network
money
is that coming
movement,
out
yeah.
on?
Tick Tick Boom.
Yeah,
That's I believe Netflix.
Netflix.
Right on.
It's
Man,
but
I'm a
that's,
like
see that's
because
one that
I
I'm
like
just like
Hamilton.
eh.
I'm a Lin-Manuel Miranda guy.
Really? Okay, if you like that, then you'll like Tick
But-
Tick Boom.
But
Did
I
you
haven't
watch In
watched.
the
I
Heights?
watched it. I haven't watched it yet
Oh, yeah.
because I watched the trailer, and the trailer was like, I could maybe enjoy this, but maybe it's too boring for.
So
Like maybe it doesn't fit into
You
my.
like musicals?
I just don't really do
Musicals are hit and miss with me.
Outside of
I'm
Disney,
not a
Okay,
cartoons,
so-
it's not really.
Musicals.
Hamilton, I really got into because it was just because one, it's history. Sure, it's whitewashed history, but it's history nonetheless. And so there's that little bit in there that I enjoy, and his pace. Like, if you like Moana,
Hmm.
he's the reason why you like Moana because of
Yeah.
the music and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Into the Heights, I've had a hard time like getting into. And
So what's
We've
your view
watched-
on West Side Story, the Spielberg remake that's coming out?
don't care.
Okay.
Dude, I did not want to work on that. I had people call me to work on that, and I was like,
Oh, yeah?
I'm okay. No thanks.
My
Yeah,
biggest. We went and saw Hamilton, like because I got to pick the musicals we got to see when we went to New York. So I picked Hamilton and I picked
Cats.
Book of Mormon.
Spider-Man Into the Night.
No, I picked
Into the Dark.
Hamilton and Book of
Turn off
Mormon.
the dark.
So those are sure to be hits because Hamilton has like
Yeah.
reaches a wide audience.
Yeah.
Book of Mormon, comedy. Trey
Yeah.
Parker, Matt
Yeah.
Stone behind it. So obviously it's going to be funny. So we went and saw that. And then after that, my wife was like, let's get Best of Broadway tickets to the Spokane shows. And half of them
Ooh.
I sleep through.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like I find myself like I'm sitting and she does too. She does to like she won't admit it, but she does like she'll be like
There's like 4 plays maybe that I enjoy that are
So I can't
heavily
say- yeah.
musical.
I'm like I can't say I'm full in Broadway because there's stuff that I'm watching that I'm like
See, I like
But-
plays, but I don't like musicals.
some
Oh,
plays
yeah,
are good, yeah.
there's
Yeah.
I'm
distinctly
just,
different.
I'm not
but,
big
like,
on suddenly bursting into
certain
song for
musicals-
No, reason.
No,
It's
that
just-
shit is just weird. to me.
Hamilton as a
It's
musical works because there's so much history being explained in the process
Yeah.
and the choreo. Like I like choreography, especially if it's done well.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun.
Mm.
But anyway,
Yeah, no, I didn't. For West Side Story, I knew it was going to be hell to work on that because you have to close down tons of streets. It's musical numbers.
Dude, yeah.
You
I
have
can't
to
even
work with
imagine.
like, normally when we're filming, it's like, you deal with 1 or 2 properties. For something like that, you have to deal with the whole block worth of properties.
Yeah.
Could be
That's
a dozen different owners,
could be. No, it's
property
definitely
managers,
dozens of owners and
their
property
lack-
managers and residents, and it gets crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That wouldn't, with the amount of shooting of where they would have to shoot, I can't imagine that would have been probably very fun.
No. And it wasn't, I mean, it's Spielberg, but it's, the movie, I don't know, didn't
It's
pull
not
me.
like it's Indiana Jones.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I would love to
Should
work on a
also be
Spielberg
different
movie,
to work
but
on, I think,
just not that one.
because the time. I mean, you'd have to find 50s stuff now. It wasn't the last one in the 50s.
I think so.
The jungle one, where they.
I try to pretend that movie doesn't exist, but yeah, I
it's
think
a
so.
South American.
That's the other thing,
they're
when you're
working on number 5 right now.
when you're working on period pieces, sometimes you just have to do some crazy shit. Because, like, I don't know, TVs, you have to remove TVs, for example.
Yeah.
Sometimes AC units in the windows, depending on the period.
Yeah.
Try to imagine asking someone in the dead of summer, hey, we're going to have to pull your AC units out of your window.
You ask me right now, you're getting a fuck you.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
And
How much are
because
you
if
paying
you leave
me?
it in, someone will find it. People are fucking weird now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
she had jeans.
That's
on
what
under her
YouTube channels are
stuff.
built around.
Yeah,
is
dude.
She
finding
left a
Easter
Starbucks
eggs.
cup out.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
so
yeah,
what?
that Game of
At the
Thrones
end of the
Starbucks thing was
day,
huge.
Yeah.
I never even noticed it. People are like, it totally takes me out of the show.
I didn't
like,
notice it until somebody showed me.
You didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't notice how fucking bad the last season
I
was.
was-
That
yeah.
took me out of the show.
I was
Like,
too busy being frustrated with the quality to notice the Starbucks guy.
You know what else I worked on that you guys might probably enjoy is it's a new Apple Plus show. It's called Invasion.
I saw a preview for that just the other day, actually.
Yeah, I worked on that.
Oh, nice.
Then they kept that super under wraps.
When's that drop?
I think in the next 2 months. Next
there's
month
an
or two.
awful
No,
lot
I
of
think
stuff
July.
showing up
I
this
think
I don't watch a lot
Next
of
month.
previews for Apple stuff because I don't have Apple.
I
but
have Apple.
I watched.
you?
Yeah, Mosquito Coast. Eduardo has all the streaming services.
Yeah,
He
man,
does.
he does.
Jesus.
Oh, never mind. October. It comes out October 22nd.
Okay.
It's a release date
Nice.
for Invasion.
Mosquito
and
Coast?
we had a code name and everything for that show. And that
Oh
was
wait, no, it was Foundation. That was the one I watched.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
So Invasion.
Nope, Invasion.
What's the
Okay.
premise?
it's kind of like War of the Worlds, Aliens.
Oh,
Okay.
And
ABC had a show titled Invasion back in the early 2000s.
They did.
That was good. It had
Oh,
Tyler
really?
Labine in it,
Yeah.
and yeah,
wonder if it was this is a series from Simon Kinberg and David Wheel set to premiere globally.
I think it's probably
It
different.
follows. Yeah, it's probably different. It follows about 4 or 5 storylines around the globe, though. So they went out to Japan to film in Japan for a few weeks,
Dang.
and some other country. I forgot where. I did not get to go though.
I like extraterrestrial shit.
I do too. I'm waiting for. I know that report came out, but it was kind of a wet fart of a release.
Yeah.
It's
Well, hey,
8:30
Bruno, we
hour.
got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
no,
this has
was
been
fun.
awesome. I know it's probably, what is it, midnight?
It's
your
11:30.
time?
It's
It's almost
11:30.
midnight.
11:30. That's right.
So
That's right. I'll be.
thank
waking
you
up early.
again.
Take
We
my
need to
food
do this
tomorrow.
again soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're on hiatus for how long?
A little while.
Aren't we
'Cause
off
aren't you
for like
going-
3 weeks or something like that? Because you got somewhere you got to go. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, the first part of July. I'll let you know for sure, but I think I'm going to be gone.
No
Okay.
We're
pizza
gonna be
party.
Probably camping.
Yeah, we got to do the pizza.
So when we get back, yeah,
ASMR.
pizza party's coming, and I'll have.
ASMR.
I got to get some of that Hispanic beer.
Oh,
I don't know what a Mexican beer. I don't know what to call it now. With,
Corona?
to stay politically correct.
Yeah.
No,
I
the
don't know.
juice, the Jarritos.
The Jarritos.
Oh, jarrito. It's not beer. It's soda.
I know,
It's
but
soda.
I want to
Oh,
pop
oh.
the tops on those and see if I can
wants
bottle
to,
them.
He wants
Oh.
to use them.
Oh,
beer, is what he's
okay.
saying, Yeah.
The bottles
But
are
also,
cool.
soda
Yeah, they
goes
are.
good with pizza, right?
Well, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
So
Everything goes good.
I'll
with
make
pizza.
sure to chill it ahead of time.
Pizza and soda.
All right, guys.
When it's
All right,
pizza, it's
Bruno.
All right, Bruno.
Thanks again.
when
Take
it's
care,
pizza,
buddy.
It's been a
it's
blast. I appreciate
Good
you.
to see you as always.
Adios.
hit our surf. Come on.
Oh, you want that? You want to actually hear the surf
Oh
shimmy?
yeah, we got to surf shimmy out of here. We can't leave it out.
Time spent poorly. Well, that was a good
Yeah.
time. Yep.
Let me get it.
I just
Was
want
that
you to.
me
I
saying
just
yep?
want you to kill the feed so I can hear Bruno talk about his friend's other little project that they were talking about.
Oh yeah, just go
Fucking
ahead.
kill this shit, Ward. I have been waiting for an hour now
Where is Surf Shimmy?
because I am so sold on Killiamsburg.
And I think it
know
is
it's gonna
you
happen.
saying yep, Huds. I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
yeah, I think it is too.
Yep, I'm pretty.
That's it. That's it.
That was it right
That
there.
was it.
I can't find it. It's been so long since it's been played. It's
Wow.
fallen out of the.
Oh no!
All right, go ahead and kill the feed so we can talk to.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Far out. you
All
freaking
right,
bitch.
my thanks go to Bruno, all the way from New Jersey. And from here on out, I'm going to hand it over to the Beard to finish us out for the show,
All the
to
love,
blow
folks.
our load.
All the love.
All right.
Murder the feed.